Shazam. Hello everyone, my name is Key. I'm a league assistant for the KH2FM Rando Discord, and I have noticed that there's a bit of a lack of resources in general for when it comes to learning how to route an ABN. A lot of people tend to learn by just watching top players and asking some disjointed questions, but I figure that a more comprehensive, basically run through of an entire seed with someone showing you every step of routing throughout the way would be more helpful than just scattered advice all over the place. So to that end, I decided I'd play through a seed with some extensive routing commentary. This is mainly focused on routing more than anything. And to that end, I've got a friend here who's also helping me with commentary and routing. He can introduce himself, hopefully.
Yes, my name is Crazy Comics. I'm a lead commentator, rando player. I've played pretty much every version of the randomizer, but yeah, I'm here just to be a second set of eyes and ears and a second voice just to offer my opinion or to ask questions that you guys might also be having.
Sick. So I wouldn't call us like the top players in the rando community, but I'd call us good enough to offer advice to people who are entering the beginner ABN tournament. So
Absolutely.
do take everything we say with a grain of salt, but don't be like, hey, you have no credentials. And it's like, we have some credentials, probably more than whoever's going to say that to us. But, you know.
Yeah, I made it into league. Like,
I run the league, so I'm definitely like the best player ever. All right.
There you go.
Without further ado, let's get started. So this seed is played with the beginner ABN settings. I took them from the pastebin Surly posted. And nothing too special about them. We pick shield because it's the most important thing in the entire seed. Not really. It makes no difference what you pick there. I just like picking shield. Personal preference more than anything. Just pick sword there, please. Saves you a lot of time in the long run. Alright, so right away at the beginning of the seed, check your abilities. You're going to have, these are the guaranteed abilities you have. Guard, scan, area recovery, and the 5 movements for this tournament. So you want to immediately go to your abilities menu and equip all of them. You also might want to check what kind of items you have. So I now know I have 2 Mega Elixirs, a Mega Ether, and I can look at Donald and Goofy, steal his Ether. I don't steal Donald's potion, but feel free to steal the potion if you want to. You notice that they don't have any good abilities on their staves. You're mainly looking at the abilities for Duck Flare, Duck Flare's Flare Force. You're looking for Fantasia. You're looking for Whirligoof. You're looking for Knock Smash. Those are the things you'd be looking for on Donald and Goofy. So I see there's nothing really important there. My auto tracker, which I've got running on my side over here, also shows nothing important. I'm going to fix my camera. Alright. Anything you want to add there?
Not really. Just customize your items as best you can. Learning how to use items is definitely one of your big things that you want to learn early on.
Exactly.
It just helps to helps when you're in a pinch. Just popping an ether when you're low on magic, everything like that. It's good to know.
Yep. So there's 5 Donald staves and 5 Goofy weapons in the shop at the beginning. You can check them for Duck Flare, Comet, all that good stuff. Goofy Tornado. I don't have any synth materials. If I had a synth material, that'd give me an ether, but no worries. I'll probably find one eventually. So when you start a seed, there are basically like 2... There's one really good play that basically everyone should do, and if you're not comfortable with that, there's like a second play I wouldn't consider as good, but it's alright. So the backup play is Halloween Town, right? Halloween Town's a pretty easy world, not too difficult. Disney Castle's also a good backup world, incredibly easy. You can do the entire like first half without any combat. But the world that everyone should start in, once they get good enough to do the strat I'm about to show you, is Pridelands. You should always start Pridelands.
Absolutely.
There is basically no better start in the entire rando scene, rando thing, in the entire randomizer. So I'm going to open all the chests here, reflect, really good. Alright, so already we're coming to a really fascinating routing position. So you might notice on the left that I have a reflect and Pridelands is now a blue 1. This indicates that we're done here. So what that means is that you could either you can just leave right now, honestly. You can just go, alright, I'm out, see ya. Or you can keep going and get some free checks. Let's start with Crazy here, actually, real quick. What do you think about this situation? What would you do here?
Well, considering there's a lot of checks hidden behind this in the first fight gives you a bunch of levels. Now, here, levels are blue 0, so there's nothing important on levels. But say you were in a seed where levels were important and you got the 1 check and it was blue here, I would say push it because you're guaranteed 9 free levels. I would say.
I believe on these settings it's 9, but I don't remember the beginner value specific. I'm playing on crit, aren't I?
Are you playing on crit?
Am I playing on crit? I am playing on crit. Hang on.
Well, all right.
Well, where's the title? How do I get the title screen? Pepe hands, bro.
It's start. I'm used to playing on PC. So.
Same. Or not same, but you know what? I'm just gonna quickly relaunch, and we're gonna hope that you didn't lose too much faith in me because of that incredible goof. All right. That was terrible. That was terrible. All right. We can continue talking about this while I relaunch though, real quick. So
yeah. So yeah, definitely. I would push past that because I'm trying to do a mental count in my head because I think there's 5 checks right after that fight. There's 3 on Pride Rock. There's like around 6 in the next room. 3 in that next room. 3 in that next room. And then 4 and then the Simba check. So I would say around 20-ish, like somewhere over 20 checks after that. So it's really up to you. You would definitely find like not important checks, but you may end up finding explosion, berserk charge, horizontal slash, like abilities that would help you in the long run. So really it's up to you at that point. But I would definitely push for those levels. And then if you don't want to do all of Pride Lands, you can just go to Pride Rock, get like 9 checks on the way, and then go to Pride Rock, in where Rafiki is off to the side, and just save and quit out from there, or go back to the garden from there. So there's a lot of options that you can do at the start with Pride Lands.
Excellent. All right. Quick note there. Since I'm playing on beginner, I don't have any extra checks, so I'll always start with just these abilities. So the only really relevant thing you want to check is Sora's weapon. I have air combo boost, decent ability, not the greatest. Hyper healing on Donald's staff, and damage control here. I'm gonna go through here, look through all this. All good stuff. Alright, so hearing that, I'm gonna go through and do all of Pride Lands up to Simba. So basically, if you're not familiar with where Simba is, it's at the end of the Oasis. There's a cutscene where you talk to Simba, he faces his fears, and he joins your party. And that gives you a check. And that's where basically you tend to take most Pride Lands runs. And that's where how far you tend to go Pride Lands. There's a reflect there. Move that for the sake of the auto tracker. Alright. So this fight, this isn't meant to be like a gameplay guide or anything, but I will give a brief overview how I do this fight. At the beginning of this fight, hold up left and mash triangle. You'll get this RC. Different people have different strats here. I like to take him to this corner, bonk him on the head once. This guy who falls, you want to hit him, get rid of him as quickly as possible. Alright, carefully jump over this guy. If he might be stomping, and watch out for that, but if he is, just jump up over him, hit him, and don't let him breathe. And that's that fight. Nice and clean. So, right now I'm level 10, so 9 levels. That was right. You were right earlier.
Okay.
So, now we get this check right here. So, what we're looking for right now is really useful abilities. So, Crazy Comics mentioned a lot of them. I'll go over the ones. Second Chance Once More are considered important checks. So, because the world is blue, we know we're not going to get that. But we can look for Keyblades with good abilities. We can look for good accessories, items, all useful things. I would like to point out that in that earlier fight, I have Reflect and Fire. If the fight ever goes out of control, you can use Reflect to basically bail yourself out of the situation. It's good practice not to rely on that because you're not going to always have Reflect, and it's actually pretty rare. But, you know, oh, Money Pouch. See, that alone made this trip incredibly worth. Stat Sanity, also a thing to note, is that just getting raw HP tends to help a lot with your survivability, especially on beginner. So, it's worth going out of your way to potentially get another HP up or two, just because, like, that might make the difference between surviving a hit and not surviving a hit. More so than, like, you want to have a large HP pool before you have a lot of defense, because having a large HP pool means you can basically tank anything, honestly. So, we're getting a lot of okay armor here. Aerial Dive's really good. That tends to be handy on Zigbar and certain Heartless. Combo Boost is a really good ability. I like to have that basically all the time. Maximum MP increase, really useful with magnets if you get enough of them, because you can put 5 magnets in the air instead of just 4 without using an ether. Let's see. Map, not that great. AP boost, useful. I don't tend to use them unless I need them, but using them when you get the triads is really nice. Aerial Spiral is really good for Peter Pan strats with Luxord or Psyx or, you know, the world that never was in general, honestly. Finishing Plus is really good. Enables a lot of strats.
Something else I wanted to add, why Pride Lance is such a good opening check is even though we have Movement on, which gives you all the movement abilities level 1 right out the gate, your running animation in lion form is extremely fast, so it allows you to go through all this world on its own, and it also allows you to possibly pick up other movement, because having Glide 1 versus Glide 2 in a race could mean a whole heck of a lot in terms of getting through worlds quicker and everything like that. So, yeah.
For an idea of the difference, if you go do the opening room of Olympus Coliseum with just, hey, a glide, amazing.
There you go.
That's the point right there. So, I kind of wish I save stated before that glide so I could showcase the difference real quick between Glide 1 and not Glide 1, but it's alright. Alright, so let's take stock of what we have right now. We have a Reflect, a Fire, really nice abilities. Not like the greatest for like right now, but they're really nice in general. We have good movement, and we have money. So with that money, what you like to do with a money pouch is just go here. We already know these are useless, but you like to sweep through them real quick, and then buy a bunch of ethers. Some potions if you're uncomfortable with that many ethers, but ethers are just by far and away the best thing you can buy with your money. Incredibly useful. Alright, so let's talk about what you do after Pride Lands. So you come into Pride Lands, you leave, and you're like, now what do I do? So this part of the route is what I like to call it the opener, or some people like to call it the shotgun. The phrasing's not too important. It's basically just a set set of things you do at the beginning of the randomizer. So for example, my opener is I go from Pride Lands to the first 3 checks of LOD, to Halloween Town, to OC, Olympus Coliseum, to Port Royal, the first 3 checks, to the beginning of SP, to the beginning of Disney Castle, to the beginning of Agrabah, and then from there, I like to make decisions based on what I have. Crazy Comics, what's your opener? Just lay it out for me.
So my opener is I go to Halloween Town right after this, get a few more levels, and then I shotgun OC, Port Royal, Space Paranoids, kind of work my way around that way, so to Disney Castle, and sometimes Agrabah, but I will always finish with LOD, because LOD is where I will take stock of all my abilities, all my magic, everything like that, and that's where I do a big menu and just figure out, okay, how do I want to set myself up? What tools do I have? That's where I really assess and then go forward with the rest of my run.
All right, so you see we have similar openers, so there's definitely worlds you want to visit early, but we do it in a slightly different order. I do LOD first because I want to just potentially get a movement here that speeds up the rest of it. He does it last because it gives them a really nice time for a menu and thinking. One thing you really want to learn to do in these ABNs is, like, you don't want to be like, so let's say right now I left Pride Lands, right? And I'm just sitting here racked by indecision. And I'm like, oh my god, where do I go? I'm gliding around the GOA. Do I do Halloween Town? But what if I want to do Disney Castle? But wait, Halloween Town. This is like the worst thing you could do for your time. And I'm not even exaggerating that badly. Like, you're going to lose a lot of time if you just kind of waffle in the GOA thinking about what to do. So the best thing you can do for just, like, in general is just have a set opener so you can take stock of what you're doing while you do, like, familiar actions and just run with it every seed. It just, that routine really, really helps just develop a solid foundation for the rest of the seed. You don't really have to think about what you have either during your opener, right? With movement, you can basically do all the worlds we mentioned without, like, any hassle whatsoever. Right. So there's really no, like, incredible struggle you're going to face just thinking about how to do the opener. So I'm going to go with my opener, but note that you could do these all in a different order. So I'm going to deliberately just do my opener real quick because I'm familiar with it and I won't mess it up probably. So here, oh, friendly reminder, I didn't point this out at Simba, but Simba has an ether. I took the ether from him. You can also take the potions from him if you're not comfortable without the potions. I feel like it's just nice to let them have it for certain fights.
The only party members that you get where they don't have an ether are Beast in Beast Castle, Orin in OC, and I believe that's it. I think everybody
Jack
else has
Sparrow
at least
also
one
doesn't
ether.
have an ether.
Oh, Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow as well.
Jack Skellington is probably the best party member because he comes with 2 ethers. Like,
Yeah.
He's like the best. So even if Halloween Town is blue, you actually might want to come here and get to this chest. This chest. Oh, drive gauge. And do this cutscene because this cutscene lets you take Jack's ethers. And 2 ethers are... We have the money pouch, so it's not as relevant. So if you have a money pouch... Here's a routing idea, right? Without a money pouch, even if this was a blue 0, I would come here for Jack's ethers. With a money pouch, I would not come here for Jack's ethers. So that's like the sort of adaptation on the fly I would do as a high-level player. But if you're just trying to learn an opener, don't worry about that too much right now. Just worry about just being consistent and like doing your opening well and being fast about it. So notice I have a Cosmic Belt that just massively increases my defense. I'm not going to equip it right now because I actually want to Death Abuse here real quick. Stats from the Full Bloom. I'll take that. So in Halloween Town, I'll showcase the strat that I think would be easier to learn, but I'll point out the strat that you can also do. So the strat here is to die as quickly as possible. That's it. That's why you want to do this world early, in beginner especially. If you do this world like late, and hang on. I also like taking Jack out of the party because he's kind of a menace to society. He will run rampant on these Heartless, and if they don't kill you quickly, you're gonna lose a lot of time, like a lot of time. So pull Jack back out. The alternative strategy I was talking about is that you could do a dance call, Jack's Limit, on these White Knights, and even a couple extra Heartless, just for a bit of extra experience. It has the advantage of pushing you a level or 2 higher than you would normally be, which can make a difference. And you also get a free magic refill when that fight ends, so you don't need to worry about using Ether for it. The downside is that it generally takes longer. A strat I like to do here is doing a dance call right around here, and grabbing this free experience. 2-3 levels, not a huge difference in the grand scheme of things, but since levels are off, I know I'm probably not going to be level grinding later in the run, so I like to grab these extra levels where I can. Can make a huge difference in a time set. Yeah.
I'll just add that is not something that I do, and I do something a little bit different, and I'll mention that whenever we get to it here in Halloween Town.
Sick. All right, see, routing difference already. It's not like they're both viable options, so think of what you would like to do, but note that we both have different strats for a lot of things. So this fight, I think we both probably have a similar strat, so I'll just explain it, and you like interrupt me really if you have like a huge difference. So this fight, it's really easy if you just get it down the motions. It'll be really easy. Walk forward, immediately dance call. Back up a little, not too much, but just a little. Kill this guy with your dance call. Grab this chest. Throw 2 ethers, and then wish movement. Glide over to this chest. This is an optimization. You don't have to do this chest, and then do another dance call. You don't have to get that chest. It's just something I like to do while I'm waiting for my MP charge.
The good thing about going to that chest, and you'll see here right after he gets out of this fight, is over to the right where you spawn. There's a chest directly to your right, and then when you walk forward towards the door, there's a chest right there. So getting that chest just completely eliminates that left side. You don't have to go over there or anything like that. You just already get that chest out of the way. And also, in case you don't have like item boosts or anything like that, it'll allow you time to catch up the remaining MP to do that dance call.
Yep. I believe I had MP haste, actually, which is why that one's... No, I just...
Oh, yeah.
No, I actually got... Why did I... I guess I must have gotten an MP orb or something from somewhere. But the point is that it generally takes a little bit of time for your MP to recharge, so you might as well grab this so you don't have to walk all the way back over here. But yeah, you grab those 4 chests. Checks is like the items in it, but those are just chests. You grab these 2, and here's where a lot of people might have a routing difference from in general. What I like to do, and interrupt me if you do something different, but what I like to do is leave here, go up to this area. You have full magic right now, if you might notice. And dance call these guys.
Yep, this is my strategy. I don't level in Halloween Town. I just level off these guys. Like, coming back through, just kill these guys, walk through the door, and key, this is probably where we end our Halloween Town journey for now.
Yep.
Right?
Okay. You are theoretically able to push further, but don't. It's slow. So the number one rule of ABN is don't do things slowly unless you have nothing better. You want to wait till you have a better tool. So for an example, right now, theoretically, I could go to simulated Twilight Town and burn through all of it. You know why I won't do that right now? It's super slow right now. So we won't do that. Next on my shotgun is Olympus Coliseum with movement, and especially with a glide level 2. I like doing this early. There's 6 chests here. Free. Incredibly easy to get. The more movement I have, the more inclined I am to do this. If I have really bad movement and OC's like a blue 0, I'll skip this or something. But generally speaking, I like to do this early.
Yeah, usually whenever you got your bigger worlds, OC, Agrabah, Disney Castle, and stuff like that, I like to wait until I get some upgraded movement. Or if I don't get upgraded movement, I just kind of hold those off until later. Because you want to have as much movement as you possibly can for in these worlds. And again, we wish we would have been able to show it off. But the difference between Glide Level 1 and Glide Level 2 in these types of worlds is massive.
So I like to point out something. This dog, he won't kill you. But if you don't get hit, if you get hit by that dog, that usually means your movement was kind of sloppy going down here. Not getting hit by the dog means you have pretty optimal movement. Getting hit by the dog means your movement was kind of sloppy. That's kind of like how I like to tell how my movement was in OC. It's not like foolproof or anything, it's just like a little tidbit. So like, if you want to practice quickly going down to that chest or something, I don't know why you'd practice that, but it's a thought. We didn't get anything really important there, I think. Let me just look. Experience boost, actually. That was in,
this third chest, I want to say.
Yeah, so experience boost is really important in a seed where levels are not blue, but levels are blue, so I won't put too much importance on this experience boost, but if you're ever feeling worried about your stats or you want to level grind somewhere, knowing that you have an experience boost allows you to pull off certain strats that I'll do my best to remember and highlight to you later, and when we get to that point. So OC's not blue, but we got through the beginning part of it, so now a lot of people do this early thing. 3 very free chests here, no fighting, incredibly easy. You can go further into town. That's the area past this, but it's highly... Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Magnet.
Well, we don't have to.
Yeah, alright, so Blue Port Royal is actually kind of interesting because Port Royal is one of the places I like to do early, but we can discuss that more when we're done with my opener. So we'll just keep going with the opener. So this is what I'm talking about the opener, right? Like, I would be thinking about this sort of thing while I'm doing my opener, so I don't have to just sit in the GOA and go, the whole time. It's just bad form. That glide, by the way, is like really hard to get, but it looks really weird, so it's fun to go for.
I like to do it at an angle so it goes all the way to the platform.
That's always fun too. Alright, I take
fun.
Tron's Ether, take his potion too. You don't have to take his potion or his ether, but it's highly recommended you take it. Items
I like
are
taking
always
his
nice.
potion there. I like taking his potion there because later on, since this is a good EXP boosting area, when you're trying to get into EXP boost range, you don't want him to pop an potion on you while you're trying to, trying to level.
So we're not able to go there quite yet, but this door, you might recognize this as like we call it screens, colloquially. It's where you have like the giant swarm of yellow dudes and you need the orbs to like freeze the monitors. That area is really good for EXP grinding with experience boost, or it's really good for leveling wisdom or valor form. So that area is going to be probably important later on in the seed. And Space Paranoids is not a blue 0, you can see on the bottom left. So we'll probably be coming back here at some point. So we could go there right now with our experience boost and try to, like, you know, muddle our way through. But I'm not going to do that because right now it'd be incredibly slow. We're going to go do other things and wait for the tools that would either make that faster or make it worth our time to do it. And that's like a recurring thing in it, reoccurring theme in ABN. You want to either do things that cannot be made faster, or you want to do things that will make everything else faster, guaranteed. All right. So here's something that a lot of people might not do or will. I like to wait for a torn page before I check 100 Acre, just because it's more efficient. Some people will just check 100 Acre since it's right here on the way. Nice circle keeps going. You don't have to like think we're at the holy gospel when we skip 100 Acre till a torn page. Feel free to just check it if you want to get the free 3 checks. You know what? I'll just like showcase it real quick. So the reason I like getting the torn page is that you don't spawn up there. You spawn down here, and there's like 6 checks right next to each other. But there are 3 checks here that are really easy to get. So some people even before going to Pride Lands just walk backwards in 100 Acre and get it. So Magnet Splash or Magnet Burst, sorry, is a really nice ability to have for certain worlds. Not incredibly useful right this minute, but it's a nice thing to have in general. So
we'll go more in depth into 100 Acre wood routing when we get a torn page and go back.
All right,
because it's got a pretty easy route. So
it's basically the route is if it's not blue, keep going.
Yeah,
that's a great route. When you do 100 Acres is a different issue, but we can definitely, like Crazy said, we'll talk about that later in depth. So, right. Disney Castle, people have different routes throughout this room. This is my route. I grab every chest. It's what I've been using since the beginning of the rando, so it's nice and familiar to me. Getting hit by that shadow is not a huge deal on beginner, so don't sweat it if you get hit. Finishing plus is really good. Lots of HP. So much HP. Alright, so something to note is that this, you could go down that here. Let me show you real quick. So you could, and we have good movement, so I might actually just I think this might be faster, but you could just glide down that hall all the way to the end to get to Minnie. But an alternative, if you have terrible movement, like base movement, you probably won't actually want to do this, what I'm doing right now, is you could just go back in this door, go in here. That's not what I meant to do, but you know. Alright, go. This is going to lose you time if you mess up like I did, so don't do that. Go back to the garden, walk back in, and because of how the GOA mod works, you get spawned right here. So that's usually the strat I like to use if I have like base of every movement, but since I had glide 2, aerial dodge 2, I'd probably just glide down the hall. I just wanted to showcase it because it is an option.
Something else I'd also... Well, yeah, that kind of goes into what I was going to say. If you get an early form, Wisdom, Valor, Limit.
Hang on, I'll showcase this is a right good. Here.
Yeah, this is a good place to level up on. One thing that I like to do whenever I'm playing the game in any capacity is to level forms passively. So instead of going and being like, I'm going to take time to just go to this world just to level forms, what I like to do is say, no, while I'm going through this world, I will level this form as I am going.
Yeah.
So while you're walking down that hallway, pop into wisdom form, get a few levels through the door, and keep moving, right?
What I did right now is the opposite of what Crazy said. I took time out of my route to go level a form. And I did that specifically to showcase Crazy's point that that's a good room to grind levels in for that form, but I generally would recommend against doing that as a play, on average. So let me show... I've already leveled the form, so it's kind of a moot point. I should have actually... What if I was thinking I would just save state and do that again, but damn. I need to remember I have save states because I'm a filthy emulator player. But anyhow, I'll showcase what it would look like if I was trying to passively level my form. Here, by the way, you're trying to death abuse. Kind of difficult for a beginner because you're just really, really, really healthy. It's actually kind of annoying. This is why a lot of people like to do aggro. I have like so much HP just doing my shot. It's kind of obscene. But
and it's another reason why I like to do LOD later is because at LOD I would apply my armors, which would give me more defense and everything like that. So anywhere that you would want a death abuse early on in the run, you could do that later on. But that's how I would play it and this is how Key is playing it. So.
Yeah, so no. Another thing to know is let me point out, I deliberately didn't put on an armor and I still took that long to die, but there was an HP up or two in LOD, so Crazy would have been faster than me here. So I'm just pointing out.
Defense is 6, so
yeah,
I mean.
It's not like armor would have made a difference too much.
Right.
So it's like, just the raw amount of HP can just, even 1 HP up can make such a huge difference. It's 5 HP, which is like 2 hits. So, and you saw how long it took me to get like the last 2 hits. This round I'm doing right. Oh, sorry.
The hardest part of beginner is that it's going to be extremely hard to die. Early on, at least.
Nice proof. So, doesn't do anything for us, but the route I took throughout the room is basically the most common route throughout that room. Just memorize it, and you'll never miss a chest there. Aladdin has 2 ethers. He's Jack Skellington and him are our favorite party members with that 2 ethers. If you need the potions, feel free to take the potions. Let me actually showcase a nice tidbit that I didn't actually learn until I was like a year into the rando. So when you like go into a party member menu, right? Like for the first time, you'll go in. You're here. You're on the scimitar. If you just push R1, you get immediately put to the bottom of the item list. It saves a lot of time for specifically Aladdin, actually. Just menuing that. Just a neat little tidbit I thought I'd point out. It works on every other party member. It's just the most time saving on Aladdin because he's got like 10 potions to scroll through. And R1 I think is a more consistent input for me than up sometimes. If you're playing on PC, it might not be a big of an issue, but on emulator, sometimes I have input lag with just the D-pad up, so I just push R1. Genie. Genie's nice to have. Any summon's pretty good to have, honestly. So, by the way, let me show you what I would do here for what Crazy said. So look, I'm gonna kill 1, 2, 3, 4. I killed 4 Heartless, just kind of, you know, vibing. I'm also gonna fire this guy. So look, that was just 5 Heartless with Wisdom form. I killed on my way. Passively leveling. I didn't go out of my way to level it. I just took the opportunity that was in front of me to quickly level my form.
And especially with this being beginner mode, your stats are going to be way higher than what it would be in a normal capacity, especially like just looking at the stats he's gotten from going to Halloween Town and Pride Lands. He's already got like massive stats, so killing those guys just walking through the room, not going to be a big deal.
For context, these stats would be good enough for basically everything except the world that never was. So I could basically do almost anything in the scene right now with these stats. Not with these tools necessarily, but these stats are amazing. The reason I was going really far left here is out of habit, but if you just go really far left, you avoid this spawn. And these guys can be annoying. Here, passive leveling. Normally it's not faster to do this, like movement-wise, so I don't do it. But it's another way you can passively level if you're like into that. If you're like really just want to level your wisdom quickly. There's a bunch of shadows here that tend to get just smacked by this. You can quickly kill that shadow. I also have 6 drive gauge. Oh, that's we'll talk about that when I'm back. But yeah, that's really nice to have. Now my passive leveling will actually have an effect. So watch this. That guy's gonna shoot at me. That guy's not gonna shoot at me. Hang on.
What? At some point, here we go.
Yeah, you can just reflect that. Free experience. Very nice. Dodge slash. I'm equipping that for the meme, but know that you've probably not equipped that. I'm just going to tell you like preemptively. Alright, by the way, the reason I'm using Wisdom here is that I have 6 drive gauges. So I took note of my drive gauges and concluded that even if I ran out of Wisdom randomly, I would have enough drive gauge to go back into a form when I leave the world. Leaving a world in a form gives you back all the drive you used to get in there. Another reflex. See, look, I still have 3 drive gauge. That would not be possible if I didn't get a drive gauge earlier. So I took that into consideration going down here. That's like the sort of thing you'd consider like when you're higher level form routing. Of course, you could just not use the form there and not worry about it, but that would lose you time in the long run because you didn't get form levels. So just think about it. You know, you have to like we can't like tell you every situation you have to think about that sort of thing. But I'm trying my best to give you a concrete example. Like I got that drive gauge upgrade, therefore I could passively level Wisdom without losing much time. Comment's really good.
Comment. I like it.
All right. So here's the end of my shotgun, and if I was crazy, I'd go to LOD. That'd be the end of my shotgun. Right. But here, I'm equipping that for the memes. I don't need this extra finishing plus. I'm not going to equip it. I actually don't need this combination boost for a long time, so I'm not going to equip it. You need to learn to manage your abilities to some degree. People might complain about lacking AP, but there's a lot of abilities you just really don't need to have equipped at all times. So, for example, for specific fights, I might equip double finishing plus or a combination boost. And right now, I just don't need that. Or damage control, even. I might take that off, actually. So, it saves me having to use a bunch of AP boosts all the time. I kind of don't want this right now, actually, either. So, now that I've done most of my opener... Actually, no, there's one world I want to do after this, but... I've done most of my opener. I've done all my opener, honestly. And now this is where, like, routing really becomes important, right? So now you have a lot of choices. So let me go through all the choices I think that are reasonable right now. You have Hollow Bastion. You have Beast Castle. You have Twilight Town. You have 100 Acre. You could go Quick Run Roxas. Or you could push any one of these worlds that are not a Blue Zero. So those are a lot of options, right? So now this is where I think the most important part of ABN routing comes into play. You look at your tools, and you think, what world would be best suited? I'd be best suited for with these tools. Let's start with you, Crazy. What do you think would be like the optimal play right now, given what we have?
Well, looking at what we have, and given everything that you've said, Wisdom we can only get one more level out of in the opening fight of Beast Castle. And with the movement that we have, it would be fine, but it could be better. Twilight Town, we could level up Final Form. Couldn't do much with Wisdom Form on the tower. See, this is me thinking routing passively. Like, how could I do this form while moving, right? So, out of everything that was an option, I would go Hollow Bastion. Mainly because we got a little bit of crowd control with that magnet. We got some reflex that would be good for Bailey. Yeah, and leveling up Final Form in the few fights that we have there, we could definitely do.
Yeah, so quick thing, I forgot to do it. Since I had 3 of Drive Gauge extra, what I can do is leave the world in a form, or a summon since I have Genie, and get all my drive back. Forgot to do that earlier, but now I have 6 Drive Gauge. Nice and useful for Hollow Bastion. Quick thoughts, I'll also point out, Twilight Town has a final grinding spot. So, if you don't know, the first force fight in Twilight Town is really long and a lot of really easy to kill nobodies. And passively leveling Final is really only possible in the world that never was, and we really don't want to go there quite yet. So, Final's the kind of the exception to the rule, I think, for that form passive leveling thing I was talking about, or Crazy was talking about, in the sense that you tend to want to grind it at these like big grind spots and then go on with your life. If you're really good at the game, what you do is push the world that never was super early and then grind Final, but we're not in a rush for that. Like, we know we have lots of places we can go before the world that never was becomes an option. So, for example, I'm not going to say that I disagree with Crazy, but I'd push TT right here because of the fact that I like the huge swath of checks in TT1, and I'd like another magnet for Hollow Bastion, but I'm not like opposed to Crazy's choice. I think it's also a reasonable choice. But the idea here is that we're both thinking that what would be doable and also like potentially really good to help with other areas. We're not like thinking, oh, what can I do right now? We're trying to think, what could I do right now that wouldn't be made much faster with other things? So, Hollow Bastion. Right. I forgot to go into Final here actually early. That's my bad. So I'm going to lose a lot of Final experience here.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
The other good thing is once you get Final Form and start pushing worlds with Final and everything like that. Oh, that's a good find.
It's a really good find.
Final is a good form for getting through any boss fight quicker. It just is a boost to your stats with both the Keyblades. It works well with most magics. It just amplifies it and makes it better. And so, yeah, like routing with Final Form as soon as you get it, after your shotguns, of course, is definitely a lot. Definitely would help.
I'm going to point out here that since I know I'm going to do Bailey, which is the fight right here at the end of Hollow Bastion 1, and my Final Form's only level 2, I'm going to go out of Final Form and get all this stuff because I have better movement out of Final Form right now. If I had better movement in Final, I would have stayed Final on Bailey, but I'm trying to optimize my movement. I'm waiting here for the enemies to go away so I can equip Magnet Burst. Really helpful for this fight. I have Reflera, which should be good enough, but having a backup option of Magnet Burst is good. You should be aware of all your tools, so you don't like accidentally miss out on something really useful. So, I know I have Magnet Splash, Magnet Burst. Sorry, I need to get used to not calling it that, but have it.
You don't like using Infinity on Limit?
Oh god.
There's so many regional differences in this game, so nobody will knock you if you say the wrong thing.
So yeah, look how quickly Magnet Burst took care of that Bambi fight. Incredibly easy. If I used Reflect, I would require a lot more precision on my end, and maybe it would have been faster. But it's like you don't have to like always be incredibly like optimized for speed. You can just take the really easy, basically as fast strat until you're more comfortable with the game. Would you go back to Hollow Bastion 2 here? I believe, Crazy.
Yes.
All right, I agree. You know what? For the sake of this video, I'll say I agree, but know that I have personal thoughts about this. All right.
Okay.
But no. So I agree with Crazy that in the sense that Hollow Bastion 2 is a lot better than Hollow Bastion 1. Large swath of checks. We have decent movement, and we have whatchamacallit. There's Corridors fight we can probably beat right now as we are, which is a decent chunk of experience for where we are in the game. If you have high enough movement, by the way, you can just kind of glide up this roof. I actually just barely hit that, which is cool. And if your movement's good, it's actually faster than just climbing up the stairs on the right. So, fun tidbit. My movement was like barely high enough to make that. I didn't think I'd actually make it, but it's cool that I got to show it off. You take this skateboard if your movement isn't godlike. My movement isn't godlike, so I'll take the skateboard. I think it's basically faster if you have better movement than what you have right now. Like I think we're at the maximum movement I'd consider the skateboard faster. Quick Run 3 is probably faster, Glide 3 is probably faster, Aerial Dodge 3 is probably faster, but we have none of that, so farm pages. So now this means that when I leave Hollow Bastion, wherever that ends up being, I would consider 100 Acre as a play right now. So I'm thinking while I'm doing stuff. I can't just be like, for the sake of the video, I've been like kind of just schmoozing around in the GOA thinking, but that's mainly to explain it and like logically, verbally talk about it. But it's like in a run, I would be thinking about this while I'm getting stuff. So now I would be like, oh, let me do 100 Acre Woods when I'm done with Hollow Bastion. You can't just like sit. You can't just sit on the GOA and think about this stuff, or you're just gonna lose. You're gonna bleed time to that. And I think a lot of people may be like, how is that guy who did the same things? How is that guy able to just do so many more things than I did in the same amount of time? And it's like they both optimize and they both avoid bleeding time, and both are important. And the thing you can work on better right now is avoiding bleeding time.
Right. Also comes down to routing. They might have went to this world earlier than you, or they might have gone to an entirely different world than you and gotten something that made their run better.
Yeah. Quick note, we have the membership card, so this area is accessible early. Make sure you grab this check while you're here, else you're going to wait a long time to get this again.
Also, fun fact, in my routing, that room would also be a big menu. I would take note of my keyblades and everything like that, especially if I had Final Form. Like, that would be the time where I'd be like, okay, what is the best keyblade to put on here? What can I, that's where I assess my tools. And I'm like, okay, can I do this fight? More than likely, yes. And if not, then I probably leave the world from here. So it's really up to your toolbox at this point whether or not you stay or leave. If it would be my run.
I looked at my tools and I think I can beat this fight, so I'm going to keep going. Now, if you don't think you could beat this fight with my tools, that's fine. Judge based on your own judgment. You know yourself better than I ever will or Crazy ever will. Think to yourself, can I do this fight? And if you can do this fight, think to yourself, would this fight be fast? Maybe you can do this fight because you could just... Here, let me give an example of what this fight should not look like. I'll save state here, actually. Let me abuse this fact that I've saved states real quick. So let's say I have nothing but this base magnet, right? And I'm like, I can do this fight 100%. Let's see how this fight looks when I use nothing but space magnet. This actually went a lot better than I thought, so maybe my point's kind of...
I think it's all down to your stats. Like, your stats are really good right now. So
Yeah.
I think it's...
All right. That fight, pretty good. Pretty solid, right? Nobody can disagree that was a pretty solid fight. Now, let me do this fight in a way that I think will be a lot faster. With some other tools that I have. So, I'm gonna be kind of hand wavy here, and I'm pretty sure that second fight was faster with just final form fire, except for the fact that I kind of griefed it on the Crimson Jazz a little. But the point is that you'll notice that one of those fights was a lot faster and smooth than the others. I beat both of them, but one of them was just a lot faster in general. So it's like, this is part of one of the cruxes of ABN. You have to be very cognizant of, are you fast enough to do a fight?
Yeah, and, and the other big thing is also getting another final level off of that makes it a little more optimal. Just kind of, it doesn't look like much. Oh, it's just one level on a form, but that gets you closer to, say, if there's anything on 4, 5, 6, 7, when you get your next form, then yeah, that just gets you one step closer. So.
Yeah, so if you have movement, it is almost always worth just coming back into core after you do that fight. There's like a lot of free checks here. Even there's core skip, which you may or may not know about, but even if you don't do core skip, this is incredibly worth. You're probably not gonna die here on beginner. You're gonna get like roughed up. Like that guy's gonna be the business. But
here's the thing: we're both critical runners, so just seeing seeing like no damage happening, like just
on crit, I would have died like 5 times over now.
Oh yeah.
So unintentionally, I'm showing you the incredible auto limit strat I've come. No, I'm joking.
Oh no.
All right, you know what? Hang on. I have an idea. If Goofy would stop throwing me potions, it'd be a better idea.
Party members are really healing you here.
So sometimes you want party members to heal you. This is why I leave the potions on. But I just had an idea that occurred to me with the tools I have that would not be possible otherwise. Here, let me showcase it. So you may not notice this, or you may not have noticed this. I noticed it, and I'm not talking about crazy comms. This is just the generic you. But I have this ability, Auto Master.
This is gonna be good.
So, cognizant of the fact that I have Auto Master, I can do the following. This is core skip I'm about to do, by the way. There's an in-depth guide somewhere out there. I'm not going to explain it because I'm very bad at explaining this. I'm also really bad at doing it for reasons that probably do not belong in this video. Can I do this with high jump 1? I'm pretty sure I can do this with high jump 1.
I tried it earlier. It's tough, but yeah, you can do it.
So, what you do is you clip through that ledge, so align yourself there, get over here, and I'm gonna do a heads up strat because I want to level master and do core skip. So,
now this is another case of doing this at your own skill level or whatever you like. If you're like, I have those tools, but I don't think I have what it takes to do that. That's fine. Just get the checks in core, move on, and come back to it later. But yeah, if you've got the skills for it, go ahead. Like if you're like, I feel like I can do that, do it.
What I'm doing right now is what I would recommend you try to do if you had my tools, at least. Just that quick auto master level is not bad at all. Like, it got me an important check. And just leveling it now, rather than having to go out of your way to do it later, is always a nice thing. I wouldn't say, like, specifically come here to level auto master, but since I got to that HP, I was like, what if I just leveled auto master? So look, I got all the way to my current maximum master level, 4. Very handy. So, the reason I'm doing core skip right now is because of the fact that it's just a really large number of checks, just density-wise. And it's like, it's really easy. It doesn't really... I really don't have any better tool. I don't need any better tools for it. So, I think that right now, this is probably the most efficient play I can do with my time. Explosion.
Ooh, see, that's big. So being able to do that version of core skip versus not being able to, could it keep you off from an explosion? Like,
It's a bit results biased, but he's got a point. There's a lot of things that could be
Right.
here that you'd be blocked by just by your skill level. But that just means you need to do something else. So you can come back here and do this without worrying about your skill level. That's the way you would do other things right now. You would look for more tools to do this. Part of ABN is knowing what tools make you comfortable with doing something. If you're not comfortable with doing this with those tools, that's fine. That just means you need to go somewhere else first. It's been a long time since I've done this, so let's hope I remember how this works. I don't remember how this works.
Level geometry allows you to do this.
This is very fascinating. Vroom.
Yeah, this is another place where do I have the tools for this and everything like that, and also something in these ABNs, if you don't feel at least like 90% confident that you can do something, I would say go do something else.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to go somewhere else, do something else, and come back when you're more confident versus trying, getting yourself worked up, and just not being able to do it because that wastes time.
The number one time loss, I think, in ABN is just dying or failing. It tilts you. It loses you time. You probably have to go back and set up something again. It's just all sorts of bad business. So now we know Hollow Bastion is done. Going off what we said earlier, I'd keep going, but I know that in like a very top level like race or something, I'd probably leave right now. But know that I think in the beginner ABN setting, especially if you're like, so like it's a bit of a judgment call, right? If you're like uncomfortable with, so let's look at what I have left in the scene, right? I would really like another, I would really like a horizontal slash. That's like an ability I don't have, right? I'm looking at my current tools. So this is different from the beginning of the scene, right? Where there's a lot of things I could get, like just out of the gate that are useful. But I'm looking at my tools, right? And I could be like, well, I'm content with my glide 2, my aerial dodge 2, my quick run 2. And if I don't really want the higher level of that sort of thing, I could just bail and leave because I'm not interested in looking for them. I'll save time. But it's like, if you're still interested in looking for like abilities or like items or accessories or keyblades or lots of things, you would keep going here. But if you're not interested in that sort of thing, I'd recommend you just leave right now. Like, this is more nuanced, right? You need to like be able to assess your abilities, keyblades, your armor, your stats, and think, would I be comfortable doing everything else in the scene without a certain ability or a certain item, you know?
Right.
So, I'm griefing this. I was griefing this. I got it that time.
I think it's also good to show, like, what the rest of core looks like and everything like that. Just
True.
To
yeah, this is more informative, so I'd keep going anyway, but I just thought I'd point it out that I personally think I have enough abilities to be satisfied with literally every other fight in the game I could possibly do, but some people might not be. So,
right.
So there's like, you might want guard break, you might want horizontal slash, you might want a berserk charge that's not on a keyblade, you might want well, let's see what we get here. I'll point out if there's anything that I think might have been worth coming here, might not have been worth coming here. Fun fact, by the way, if you do course skip, which I just did, and come here without doing any fights, the Steam's not on. Makes this room incredibly nice. Drive gauge. That stat sanity too. If you think you want more drive gauges or items, I got like an item slot and a drive gauge up here. So nothing earth-shatteringly useful, but nice and handy. All right, so I'm gonna save state real quick to prove a point. Don't go here. This is bad. You do not want to be here. You're stuck doing this fight. Please don't be stuck doing this fight. Yeah. That's the public service announcement warning of the day. Instead, come over here. This door. And then just head back out. Depending on your movement, you're gonna have to probably wait for that platform. I had to with my movement. But you can just head back out this way. And go
also,
here.
I'm going to mention something. I think you missed a chest on the top post. Like the far one up at the top.
In which room?
In this room. The one up on top of that guy right there.
I might have. I think I did. No, not this one. Did I miss one?
That one.
Yep. I did miss one. Cool, I missed the chest.
Just for my own sanity.
No. This shows you that you'll probably make a mistake in an ABN. So don't sweat too hard if you make a mistake. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's not a huge
It happens.
deal.
It happens.
I want to point out a quick routing decision you can make. You can do the Dancers fight. If I wasn't done, you could do the Dancers fight here for 2 checks and then leave. Because there's 2 checks after this fight specifically. I would not recommend doing the Final Fantasy fights or Demix right now. It's pretty slow with our current tools. But
Right.
we're done with all of that
also
shit, so I'd leave.
I would also recommend doing core before doing the Dancers fight, because if you were to come back to core, if you saw earlier, he was in master form, left core.
Here. Let me save state and use a drive recovery because I know I have a couple.
Yeah.
So let me point out something.
Yeah.
Here.
So here he'll go into a form, and he'll walk out, and whenever he walks out, he reverts out of it, he gets his drive back, everything like that. That will not happen if you do the Dancers fight. You will be stuck in the form and everything like that. So just forewarning in case you end up doing the Dancers before going into core.
So generally speaking, if you're planning on doing core skip or anything core related first, do it before Dancers. You could also just do the route of pushing this way, going all the way to 1000 Heartless and then coming back to do core. The nice thing about that mainly is that if you have like a couple magnets or something, it's really, really quick to just go this way compared to doing core skip. So that's my thought process on routing that difference. It's up to personal preference, honestly, which one you'd rather do first. Just don't do Dancers into core skip. That's like the one no-no. Otherwise, personal preference, I think, for which one you'd rather do first. But both are good. All right, so let's take stock real quick. We picked up another Torn Page, a Magic, and a couple Magics, actually. And nice abilities, but like nothing incredibly... Explosion's really good, nothing incredibly super useful. So let's point out some options of what we can do right now. Viable, but I'm gonna suggest against it. We're done. Viable, but I'd suggest against it. Viable. I'd suggest against it too, actually.
Yeah.
Viable. Suggest against it, but viable. Done. I'd wait for later to do this, but this is actually not a bad play right now at all. Alright, so what are your thoughts on what we can do right now?
So something I just want to point out for Land of Dragons, which I really hate Land of Dragons, and OC, that's personal preference. But LOD and OC, the reason that at least I would say hold off on those is I'd wait until you have at least one other magnet.
Yes, so let me quickly go through the rules I'd recommend having at least 2 magnets for. SP,
There you go.
Olympus Coliseum, Land of Dragons, Agrabah past where we are right now. The shotgun you don't need a magnet, but I think past this point you would want a magnet. If we were to go to Timeless River, I'd want magnets there. So those are the worlds I'd recommend trying your best to wait for Magnet. Sometimes it's just not...
Heartless as well.
Oh yeah, we're not going to go there, but 1000 Heartless in here too.
Right.
Also, you really want Magnera.
Yes.
A thought here is that you could do these worlds right now, but it'd be incredibly slow and not worth the time at all without Magnera. Magnet is just really terrible. You could do Wisdom Fire strats, but we're only going to get potentially 1 drive level out of it. Not really great. Wisdom Fire is like, if you have literally nothing better to do, I'd say LOD is like the fastest of them all, but I'm not saying it's a good play. Like, if your best play is Magnera-less LOD, you got other issues in the seed. But
right.
I'd suggest, some of you might be like, well, why don't you push the world when there was a quick run Roxas? Because that's slow. We're not doing that. If you ever have to quick run Roxas in a beginner ABN, you're doing something incredibly wrong, and I hate to say it. But it's like, it's super slow compared to just fighting it regularly. Even if you get DM'd like 3 times, it's still faster. Even double negativing him with like double negative combos faster than quick running him. Quick running him is just no. You do this world last if you have to, but do not quick run him in a beginner ABN. It's just super slow. So if I had to make a personal suggestion of worlds we could do right now, Loud and Clear TT is like my #1 choice. Beast Castle would be like my 2nd choice. And then Halloween Town would be my 3rd choice, actually, right now. Your thoughts, Crazy?
So, what I would say here...
hang on. I'm so sorry. I forgot that 100 Acre is actually my number one choice. I forgot 100. See, this is
Oh yeah.
this is me completely messing up my writing a little bit, but 100 Acre is right there and really easy to do. So 100 Acre into TT would be my number one choice, or some other world. But so those are the 100 Acre is what I probably would do right now. But then after that, TT, Halloween Town, or Beast Castle are all things I think are options. Sorry, now you can continue.
Right. But what I was actually going to add to that, one of the best things about 100 Acre Wood is right now we're going around the GOA explaining things and thinking while we're walking around. 100 Acre Wood, you can go into the mini games, and that's a wonderful place to assess. It's just very simple things to do. You can take stock of everything you've got, where you've been, where you haven't been, everything like that. So I would say if you're ever in this situation where you're like, I'm really not sure where to go, and you've got pages, go to 100 Acre Wood and either blue it out or go do a mini game, because that'll definitely help you. But in terms of your order there, yeah, 100 Acre Wood's number one, but Beast Castle would be my number two, because Beast Castle is my favorite play to just be like, okay, this place has a ton of checks. I can go here at any time with any number of things and just do it. So it is pretty much my, if all else fails, Beast Castle. So, and then TT would be my next choice, and then Halloween Town. So basically, what you said, but switching Beast Castle and Twilight Town.
All right, so keep in mind that we're looking at our tools, right? So let's go through how we came to this conclusion. We want limit form for STT, so we're not doing STT right now. We're done with this. We're done with this. We're done with this. We want Magnera for this. Doable. We want to do this later when it'd be faster. So with limit form, I don't know, more magic or a Flaga, even more stats, lots of things you can get from this to make it faster. Magnera. If you know what you're doing, this is basically as fast as it's gonna get, but it's not exactly like, if you don't know what you're doing, you might want more stuff. But I know what I'm doing here, so I consider this as fast as it's gonna get, so I don't mind doing this right now if I have to. I want a magnet for this. This is a good option. We might want another form for final leveling, but it's not a bad option at all. Done. And we want a magnet. Or a Stitch. There's a couple things we want here, actually. But right now, let's just say that magnet's what we don't have. So, and 100 Acre, really good play, incredibly free, potentially gets us stuff for everything else. So with those considerations, we made all those considerations like, so while you're playing the seed, I would make all those considerations while doing core skip, because it's just a bunch of mindless chest scrapping, basically. So that's when I'd like to think about all this stuff. But yeah, for now, let's do 100 Acre. So, by the way, if you come here with the torn page, you spawn here, you just quickly duck in here, grab the 3 checks we already did, and then come back out, go to Pidlock's house. And the interesting thing about ABN is that the way I like to do ABN is that I will do the minigame if 100 Acre is not done. Always. It just saves time in the long run.
Yeah. If it's not blue, do the minigame. It's
basically
the simple concept. Yep.
I missed a chest or something. I'm giga throwing. That's over here. So 100 Acre's done. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn around and leave that way.
Get out.
Yeah, get out. The second 100 Acre is done, bail. No matter what you're doing. Yeah. You want to spend as little time in there as possible if you're not getting an important check for it. All right. So Crazy likes BC. I like TT. I'm tempted to do something stupid which has a middle ground, but no. I'm fine with BC. So the issue with BC right now is that I am how much HP am I at? 55. I have 0 defense, right? Look, I have, hang on, what's my stats of defense? I'll pull up my stats menu just to check that. 9 defense. Ooh, spicy. All right, let's go into BC and try to, do the thing you would normally do. So in a crit seed, you would try to death abuse here. You would try to die to these shadows as quickly as possible. Let's look at what happens when I try to do that here. Take a good look at how much damage I take from these shadows. First off, I one-shot them. Good times. Oh, that incredible sliver of HP movement. Beautiful. Alright, so what I am going to do is try to be a little bit productive. Alright, I was as productive as I'm going to get. And now I'm going to just try to reflect. So the way you could end these fights fast is getting either a number of hits, or getting your HP below a number, or waiting for time. I'm using Reflect specifically because I think it does more hits than Fire. That's just personal preference more than anything. I don't know if it's actually true or not. But
I think it has a wider spread, but anything about it.
it's not. You just basically want to be doing something to hit them. At this point, I think it's actually just easier to just shoot them. But yeah.
And that's also something is I would wait to have at least some form before going in here. Just because with that opening fight and this being beginner, I would definitely wait for that. So that way, instead of waiting to die, which could take forever, I would level up forms in here. So
I would like to quickly point out that this was a big routing decision, actually, theoretically, because you're gonna no matter the two good plays right now. I think most people are Beast Castle and Twilight Found. And the issue is that if you're no matter which role you go to, you're potentially giving up passive form levels, which is incredibly powerful. So going to Beast Castle, we give up potential Wisdom form levels, and if Valor was somewhere else, we'd give up Valor form levels. Going to Twilight Town, we give up passive Final levels, which is only one form, but it's like the hardest form to level by far. So you have to pick and choose sometimes. Crazy chose this. I chose TT. We value different things, but like it goes to show that both are viable. Like I'm doing this specifically because of the fact that like I'm just trying to like keep it simple, and like I think going to TT would require. I think going to TT is a little bit more of a high-ish level, like a really like aggressive high level play, where it's like your TT is going to be really slow, but at the cost of making everything else faster. BC is just nice, simple, and it's already really fast. It's not going to get much faster, so. Going to TC is kind of greedy, actually, honestly, but I would do it anyway. But the point is that I think both are really viable options. And I think just BC is a nice, simple play for a beginner ABN. Much more... Triple Finishing Plus is useful if you want to spam magnets. I don't really want to spam magnets right now, so I'm not going to bother with that. But just note that since I have Triple Finishing Plus, I can go, oh, I can just spam magnets in this fight. It would be really useful. Huzzah. You know. So, this is something I would be cognizant of. Stitch is really good. This actually opens up SP as a thing I would want to do. And I'll explain that a little bit. Actually, no, I can just explain that right now. So, Stitch lets you do a really good experience boosting strat in Space Paranoids. And I'll point out that I have a draw and a draw on a Keyblade, and I have one experience boost. I have another draw on a Keyblade, honestly, but it's on a form. And I have, if I had 2 experience boosts, I'd actually consider SPD play right now. But 1 experience boost, I consider a really good play, just not the play. So pro tip: if you're in a form when you start pushing the wardrobe, it gives you all your drive back. A nifty little trick you might not know about. That's why I was comfortable reverting earlier from Wisdom and just going around with my Glide too.
Yeah. Something else big about coming in here, it's not a complete turn off of the world. I wouldn't say, like, don't come here unless you have this. But one other good thing to have coming into this world is Trinity Limit.
Yeah.
Because it just makes this fight breeze by extremely quickly. I don't know if you have it.
I don't think I have it. Yeah, I'm just looking through my stuff.
I guarantee there might be a video about that strat or something like that.
You know what I'll do is I'll make a save state on Salt 1 here, and then if we ever get Trinity Limit, I'll come back here and try to explain it.
Okay, that works.
But it's not a huge deal if we don't get it, so.
Right, it's not a turn off from this world. I wouldn't say don't come to.
I will
BC
say
until you have
it's
this,
more of a
it
really good incentive. If you have Trinity, I would come here 100%, like
yes.
no doubt. So this fight, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna spam Reflect. Beautiful.
Now I'm ready for Trinity to be after this fight. That's just how rando is.
Yeah, there's a few strats you could do there that are kind of tricky to kill it in one swoop, but Trinity's by far the easiest, and I think the one I feel best about talking about for a beginner ABN tournament. So basically, I'll try to explain the strat. When you destroy his orb thing the first time, you would do Goofy's you do Donald's thing. Sorry, it's called it's the square input. I don't know what it's called. Ultima. It's called Ultima. I think it's called Ultima, right? Am I crazy?
Well, I mean, you can do Ultima, but which is the square one. But I usually do the drive, which is
Major
the
drive.
triangle one.
Yeah.
Major drive, and I just shoot it into the wall. Like I don't even shoot him, and then go straight into the finish.
I just do Donald's thing just because I don't want to aim at all. But yeah, the point is you do one of them. You do only one of them, unless your magic's like super low and you want to like optimize or something. But generally, you just
do not do X.
Yeah, don't do that one. That one's gonna cause issues probably. You might actually cause yourself to be slower. But basically, do one of Major Drive or Ultima on Trinity, and you do the finisher and it just one-shots him without doing the second phase. And it's like a nice 10-second time save, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll try to keep record of that whenever you find it and just be like, yo, can we...
Yeah, alright. High drive recovery, by the way, means that every time I find a high drive recovery, I'm thinking I can be aggressive with my drives. So, if you see me just like randomly pull out a drive in a fight where you think I might be able to save it, it's because I know I have a high drive recovery behind me. You have better junk on in this, so let me go to my menu actually. I have 6 high drive recoveries.
Dang.
Yeah, so Crazy mentioned earlier that you could just kind of breeze through fights with final form. Excuse me. You could breeze through fights with final form, and it's a lot easier to breeze through fights in final form if I just have the high drive recovery to let me do it as much as I want to. So, Hades Cup Trophy is not relevant for this format, but it lets you do cups. Huzzah for cups.
Yay.
Oh, come on.
That's great.
Oh my god. This fight, Reflect. Beautiful. Easy.
Reflect is a beautiful...
If you don't have Reflect, just stun him and then combo him. If you're coming here with stats that are not high enough to kill him with that, you got a problem, buddy. You're like, well, you need like, I think 18 strength and 18 magic to basically hit the really high floor of this world. So, by the way, Beast has a bunch of potions. I don't feel like stealing a bunch of potions, so I'm not going to steal a bunch of potions.
You don't need it. You're fine.
No, I'm good. I have drive forms and summons if I feel in danger. Alright, so I could push onwards here, but I kind of want Chicken Little, actually, for a strat for the boss here. So I.
Oh, okay.
So like you don't have you know what? It's not like I think you need to wait for it, but I'm trying to think like, would it be faster for me to go back and do this or wait for Chicken Little? And I think it'd be faster for me to wait for Chicken Little. So I'm gonna go to Twilight Town here. But know that like I value having Chicken Little for that boss more than I value potentially finding a thing for Twilight Town right now. So I've chosen this as my like current play. Twilight Town's a road I'm not gonna say you should rush, but doing it sooner rather than later is usually a good play in a beginner ABN, especially. Well, I guess actually it's
especially once you find final form.
Yeah,
like
once leveling final is really important. The thing about Twilight Town is that I think it's just a really large swath of checks that are just there, nice and easy to get, except for like maybe the back half and mansion. But even on beginner, especially, you have the opportunity to just kind of muddle your way through the mansion. But the nice thing about Twilight Town is that it's one of the most rushed worlds, like especially like to the end, because of the fact that you get a lot of experience from the third visit and the samurai fight in front of the mansion. And what that lets you do is, with that experience, you'd make every other world a ton faster, even if your Twilight Town itself was a bit slow. You'd also level final in the first visit, and the second visit is actually kind of the hardest visit for a lot of people, because Berserkers are really tough to deal with without the right tools, honestly. So, if there's any point in Twilight Town you don't feel comfortable doing without certain tools, just don't go here. But I highly recommend doing TT1 if you have final, or if you have like nothing really great to do, honestly.
Also, having good movement for here is also really good, since this is a big sandbox world. So,
if I didn't have Glide 2, I'd actually consider the CJ strat, which I will show what it is, but just know that there's an alternative strat to get all this stuff. But I have decent movement, so I'm gonna just quickly grab all this stuff and then do the rest of the first visit. So, the one issue with Twilight Town is that, well, here. This is probably the lowest level area in the entire game. and I'm pretty sure I'm accurate when I say the entire game. So having things kill you here is a massive, massive pain. And we are at 12 defense. I have like 0 armor on, and I have like 60 HP. It will take like aeons for me to die here. So I'm just gonna like fire things and hope really fervently that me firing things is like gonna get me out of this faster than me dying here.
Also, good thing, don't worry about losing your drive after this fight, because once you go to the tower, you get your drive right back. So
Yeah, you know what? I'll show you.
you're like, oh no.
So I have 2 drive now, right? The optimal thing there, by the way, is to keep final firing. I'm just doing this to showcase the point. Actually, it didn't even matter because I get put in. I don't get the drive back in the station. I get it back in the tower. But you know what? It's whatever. It's not a huge deal. This is for science. This dodge slash though is unironically kind of helpful. That arrow swipe is also kind of cool.
Also getting some good abilities in that room. We got horizontal slash. We got combo master.
Oh yeah.
So combo master magnet burst would go really well here. Like there's a bunch of combinations, and we can't really go through them all in one video, but really it's just a matter. We'll like go through them at different points, especially combo master magnet burst at certain places. But
yeah, the thing you need to know about Combo Master is that it enables a lot of really cool strategies in certain fights. I'll try to use it in some fights when I can, but it's just really nice to have for specific things. So the number one thing Combo Master lets you do is you can use a reflect and then a regular attack. What you can normally do is you can chain magic together, and then if it's I believe if it's not a reflect or a cure or a magnet, so any of the 3 offensive magics, you can chain a regular sort of hit off that magic. But with Combo Master, you can do reflect, regular hit, reflect, or something. And that allows you to... The thing about reflect is that if you do a regular hit after reflect, it splashes, like it does the splash damage. But if you do like reflect, 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 it won't splash until reflect number 3. By the way, this fight here, you really want Magnera or Chicken Little. I don't have either, so we're just going to suffer a little together. This is one
fun thing you can do a form explosion, and that might kill him, depending on what your level is. So
yeah, that's also not bad. I had Magnet, which is okay for that fight, and Explosion, so I didn't bother with that form explosion. It's what I would normally do, but I don't have any of the optimal strats here, honestly, so I just Magnet and hope that they just walk into it. See, like
also,
right there.
Fun thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, fun thing right there that none of them went to the floor, but that could have taken a lot longer. Like you can see right now, they're just like all camping the floor. That guy right there is camping the floor. Yeah, so that's why you want Magnera. It will scoop them up the second they get out of the floor instead of potentially missing.
But fun thing here, if we didn't make the BC play, this would be where we'd be leveling Wisdom, just going up this tower. Yeah, just a bunch of shadows and bunch of Heartless that you can just easily go through. And plus with Wisdom's movement, if you didn't have Magnet at this point for some ungodly reason, using Wisdom Fire would just throw you around the room, just sweeping them up like a...
You might notice I don't have
Thunder
customized here. I don't have Thunder or Blizzard customized, so I used Wisdom there because my fire is more mobile than me just trying to spam Magnet really slowly at them. So I'm trying to not sit there and wait for them to come to me. I'm trying to actively hit them. So that's why I went for Wisdom there with the fire. And then I reverted out because what do you call it? Peter Pan. Crazy.
Yeah, Peter Pan. That's what it is.
That's really nice, actually. Peter Pan's a decent summon for specific fights. He's really good at stun locking specific fights, which comes in handy, actually, more than you think. But, alright, now that we've pushed TT1, I think 100% unequivocally the play is to push Twilight Town until we get Final Check, basically.
Absolutely. It's kind of like a 100 Acre Wood in that way, where it's just like, if it's not done, might as well just go back and do it. So, especially in beginner.
What we're doing right now, this Berserker fight that's about to come up in the Sandlot. Oh, I should show the CJ strip really quickly. Sorry.
Yeah.
I promised I'd show that. there's a skateboard right behind where you start. If your movement's awful, you'd use this to grab all the chests, then do the Sandlot fight. My movement's not awful, so I didn't do that. You would technically, potentially lose time if your last important check was in that area, but that's just really unlucky that happened, so it's not usually a bad thing to just do that. Also, final form. Great form.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
That's why getting levels on it is really good.
Yeah. Final form is really the nicest thing about Final. The hardest thing about Final form is that it burns through gauge super fast. So leveling it just lets you burn through gauge a lot longer. So
I would also say, like, even if that, say drives were a 0, right? Drives is already a blue 0 at the start. I would still say leveling final for just fights, master for core skip and movement and stuff like that, and limit form for your one-on-one fights are usually your ones that you'd still want to level as you go through and everything like that. Plus, you want to limit for STT, so of course that would be easy to use.
Yeah. The thing about STT is that I usually go there the second I have limit. The thing I don't have right now is limit, so it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
And
then you get the really bad seeds where STT has limit form and it's awful and you don't like it.
Yeah.
It should usually be your last world at that point.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling when that happens, admittedly. You might have noticed this, but I skipped the chest in the Underground Concourse because with the current movement I have, my preferred strat is to actually get all the chests here and go back because my movement's not that great. If I had really good movement, I'd actually go save quit at the station next to me and then go back to the top and just glide all the way back to the fight. I feel like it's faster if you have better movement, but I don't have like a good hunch for it or anything. I'm just like, that's like my personal like preference. Don't take that as like serious routing advice. Just know that's like a weird quirk of mine. That's why I'm doing this.
Right. Also, fun thing at the Sunset Terrace there, 2 rooms back. My route for that room is the exact opposite. I go to the right first and then go get those 2 checks right next to each other, glide over the roof, and get that last one.
See, the reason I do that route I did there is that if I have bad movement, I can't really optimally get over the roof that way. So I like to go that way because it's easier to get over the roof with my current movement. If I had really good movement, I would go the way Crazy Comics described, just because getting over the roof from the other side is a lot easier. I did show it, which is my bad, but yeah, there's like the roof. I flew over a roof, and like on the other side, the ground is a lot lower compared to the roof, so you need a lot more movement to go that way. By the way, Final Fire cleans house.
Yep.
And if I ever run out of gauge here for some ungodly reason, I have high drive recoveries.
Also, fun thing here, if you had this loadout and levels were not a blue 0, I would go into final, take a shot from the snipers in the room before here, use the second chance once more, go in here and EXP boost.
The disgusting thing is I don't think that puts me in experience boost range.
oh yeah. We're not on critical mode. My God.
I'm pretty sure that here. Let me show you what I think would work. Is the Dragoon in the other room, but I don't know how much damage that does on beginner, so I'll use that to judge kind of how that sniper would have done. So what I would do is, if you want to experience boost, and I'll showcase it really quickly. I'm not going to experience boost because I don't need to, but what I would do is I would get hit by this guy. Right there. A lot, apparently.
Wow.
But yeah, I need this guy to, like, bonk me to half health. The dancer in the other room might do more damage. Yeah, there you go. That's
We're not used to playing on beginner. So
the fact that I started the scene on critical should have been your first clue, honestly.
Well, right.
My muscle memory is so ingrained to just critical. Did I?
Oh man, I love liver pepper ice cream.
Did I mess that up? Oh
love liver pepper ice cream. I was
talking about my muscle memory for critical, and I put the crit menu inputs. I swear.
God.
Because 2 downs crit in the beginner in the tournament. PSA: pick beginner, please.
Yeah.
You're playing a beginner ABN. Don't make your life hard. Yeah. I'm gonna try this dancer. Trying to grab me. Let's see how much damage this does. That did less than the Dragoon, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Oh, that's an STT calling right there, honestly.
That's STT.
Also, since I'm here, I need to level final anyway. So I'm not gonna like come back and like try to level grind or anything, but I'm here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a few quick final levels. Also doubles as experience if I need some. I don't really think I do, honestly, but you know.
Yeah, getting to the mansion is pretty much opens you up for levels, final levels, master levels, limit levels, valor levels, pretty much everything except for wisdom is great to work on here in the mansion. But I would save that for later. Like, you can level up as you're going through just to get through to that last chest. But I wouldn't take time to level there until like later on in the seed, when it's like the only things I got left are on limit level or on levels, form levels. That's it.
Yeah,
on form levels. And
if I was playing that optionally, I wouldn't have taken the time to experience boost, but I would have taken the time to just kill them while I'm in the final, just because I'm there.
Right.
So I think there's only one really good play now. It's STT, honestly.
Yep.
So the reason I think it's STT is that the second you have limit form, there's basically nothing stopping you from just cleaning house here.
Yep.
I also have
you're
a
done.
draw.
That's it.
And you might not know this, but the struggle weapons give you a draw in STT. So it's actually like just incredibly powerful to have a draw and limit form. It's basically all you really need to make this fast. All right, I put on armor, by the way. Yeah.
Quick question. Better STT is not on for the tournament, correct?
No, and I'm going to double check I have it off real quick.
It's funny because I'm a, what is it? Someone who watches the runs for the tournament, so I should know. But
no. I mean, they haven't started yet, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So,
well, at the time of this recording, they haven't started.
No. So.
All right. So I just double checked. Mine is hopefully off. Should be. I'm wave dashing, so.
Yep, we're good.
All right. So STT. Once you do this enough, you will know every single motion by heart, basically. So, I'm sorry if I missed something really obvious that you don't understand, but it's basically I just have done this so often that I know what I'm doing, basically. My stats are really cracked, so I just take the middle one for speed.
Yeah, I'll just go through real quick. Move forward, press triangle, push R1. That's those first three.
Yep.
That's the first three.
I use limit form there because I need to level limit. Because I don't know if drives are done yet, so I level limit like at every opportunity to get here. I menu Ragnarok. Like, I go down, I push up, and then I push Ragnarok. But if you're like finding it inconvenient, you can take the time. It might be even faster, honestly. I haven't timed it. You can take the time to just take off this ether, and then your shortcut becomes Ragnarok.
Or you do what I do and just don't shortcut ethers.
Also that's also pretty viable.
So, I mean,
if you don't shortcut ethers, that's not a problem you have to worry about. So, go for it.
Yeah.
It's mainly a problem for me because I shortcut ethers to the same spot as Ragnarok. Oh my god, I cringed that.
Oh. Key.
All right. Don't worry.
There you go. All right.
I didn't get a Ragnarok level up there, but to compensate, turn around.
There's like 20 more fights in this world that you can.
To compensate, I'll turn around to Ragnarok there. Normally, I don't do that. I slide dash and kill him instantly, but you can pause there in the Black Void, and it's like really bad at telling you can pause there. I just mash pause so I get it, honestly.
Yep, that's about right.
Pence has another Hive drive recovery. The thing about STT is that you get a free drive refill like everywhere because they did not expect you to have drive here. The optimal play by the way, is to pick mail delivery and quit out of it. I'm gonna do the inoptimal play of picking grandstand and quitting out of it. It is functionally.
Why are you making this video?
Because no one else.
Here's the optimal play. Let's do the inoptimal.
I'm having a good time. Leave me alone. I picked shield at the beginning. That should include you in that I am not the most optimal player. At least I went to Hollow Bastion. Yeah. I could have just been like, yeah, I refuse to go there. And just like
we have a good time here, so
I could have just been like, I refuse to go and I will jeopardize this video's integrity for that. That's harmless. It could have been so much worse. All right.
Heck, you started on critical. It's fine.
I did. That was pretty bad.
Don't worry about
that
it.
was also pretty bad. All right. Ragnarok. Easy. Sometimes. Oh my god. Hi, I'm griefing this. I don't know how I keep messing that up today. That is you. I swear I normally don't mess that. That is not the part I'm worried about here, and which is really disappointing actually, because there are parts I am worried about here. Ragnarok. Sometimes it kills them all. Sometimes it doesn't. If I'm trying to kill them all, I actually strike rate and then lock on twice, because it usually kills them in like 2 hits. But I'm not trying to kill them all. I'm trying to get a fun level. So.
Also, STT is another one of those worlds where you just go until you're done.
Oh,
Like,
hang on. I should point something out about STT that's really jank. Let me get a Dusk. So I'm gonna kill the Dusk real quick, right? So watch what you can do here, if you're really good. If you're like, this is these fast fingers. You could just do this over and over, without the enemy being alive, like you would normally need to drive for him. You can quickly revert, go back into limit, and just do this over and over. This applies to all of STT, basically. By the way, we're done with drive, so I never have to do. I don't have to do that. But
so now for me who routes drives, this is sad boy hours. Like, we're done.
yeah, I'll do my best to point out where I can route more drives in. But we're kind of at the good stretch now, where I don't have to worry about like going out of my way to level Valor. Like leveling Valor is so bad.
It's so bad, but there are some really good fights to
Really?
pretty much tell you. Well, yeah.
No. Sorry, I missed the Twilight Thorn head with my first jump. You're not supposed to do that jump, by the way. You're supposed to Ragnarok, but I got lazy.
So,
And didn't do the instant
I'll let him explain this. Fight.
Here, I'll explain. So you're the Lord and Savior right there. What you're supposed to do is walk in that fight, instantly Ragnarok, and revert as fast as possible, or else you soft walk. That's the optimal strat. Let's see what HP he's at right now. I'll do a different strat depending on his HP. Okay, alright, we're going for this. This is the quick kill. That kill, I'm actually kind of amazed the beginner. It's so cracked. Oh. I didn't think that would kill. I have a combo boost. Never mind, that's actually why that killed. A double reaction boost. I forgot about those. The point is that if you're really like, here, let me go through my abilities real quick. So if you have like a boatload of strength, 2 reaction boosts and 2 I have 2 combo boosts. That explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
The point is that if you have like these abilities, you can go for the quick kill, what I just did. If you don't have those abilities, you're better off actually playing really safe and keeping his HP bar at like, I want to say 3/4 of his HP.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, you want to keep it there so he doesn't like do the attack again, because then you could just have, if he does like the sweepy thing at you, you're in good shape. You could just wail on him then, but you don't want him to like go too low, or else he just does another throw off the stage moment, and that's really slow. So don't do that.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah. I didn't expect to kill him there. I actually thought I messed up really badly and was prepared to just take the second one and be like, yeah, this is what you're not supposed to do. But double combo boost is just really goated. Welcome to Struggles. I Ragnarok him a lot.
Yeah, just go up to him, Ragnarok, grab all the orbs. Good.
So every draw you have not exponentially, logarithmic. I don't know how the graph looks, but I'm gonna tell you that it makes it way easier. Because you don't have to walk to collect those orbs. If you had like 1 draw or 0 draws, like you would have to walk everywhere to get an orb, even in limit form with its own draw, and the struggle weapon having its own draw. By the way, perils of having too much strength. You're gonna have to do this twice. It's really fun. Or am I?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't have to do it.
I do that and then combo him, and it just works.
All right, so here, this next fight right here is another Dusk fight. You Ragnarok. These are actual Dusks, so you want to kill them. Since I'm actually not trying to level up here, I'll do the strike rate strat. I'm pretty sure that's faster than Ragnaroking, but don't quote me on that. Alright, this is the hardest fight in all of STT. You're going to have to focus really hard to understand this fight with limit form. Really hard. Alright, yeah, if you're paying attention.
Watch closely. Triangle, 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 triangle. Oh, thank God.
So difficult.
He made it.
I
You got
mash
it.
triangle like my life is depending on it. Funnily
And
enough,
the oth-
I have lost a fight or two to my inputs dropping, but other than that, that's really the easiest fight here. You just limit form and Sonic Blade him. He will never retaliate or anything. It's like guaranteed.
The other good thing is that fight takes exactly the amount that will get you to the final hit, so it will actually give you a limit forming, like experience point. So
I'm gonna preemptively Ragnarok because this guy, I forget his name, if it's Cypher or Setzer.
Setzer.
Yeah, it's Setzer. Alright. This guy, like, the second he gets up, he will do some aggressive attack and knock you on the ground, and you will lose a lot of time. So I like to time a Ragnarok to hit him while he's getting up. I don't do that for the other two because I think it's slower, but for that guy, I take the time loss, like the itty bitty time loss, just so he doesn't like knock me on my butt.
Yep.
Really unfortunate. All right. Pro tip.
Now
about
it's time
us.
for checks.
Now we finally get to the fun part of STT. Make sure you check the station. People have missed this. Not recently, in my knowledge, but people missed this. Torn page. Yay, but it's like we kind of don't want to see that anymore since we're down 100 acre. Actual master form. Nice.
There we go.
If we didn't already do Hall of Ashen, this is probably where I'd go, oh, Hall of Ashen looks really good. Or if Port Royal wasn't done, I'd also go, oh, we have a drive converter. Port Royal looks really good. Port Royal's thing is that it's got pirates everywhere, and pirates drop loads of money. And if you have drive converter, that money is actually drive orbs. And Master Form loves those drive orbs, so I would actually push Port Royal pretty hard if I wasn't done already with Master Form.
And there's some other good places to level Master Form and just get drive orbs just normally going through. One place is SP. A lot of the enemies outside of the screens fight drop drive orbs.
Every enemy there drops it, but I might be
Pretty
misremembering.
much.
I know Devastators and the red guys drop it in SP2 at least.
Right.
I think the yellow guys drop it's either money or drive orbs, but either way, with the drive converter, it's moot point.
Yeah. The other good place is Agrabah, so I feel like Agrabah would be a good play after this. Because that drop and that subsequent fight in the treasure room, excellent for getting drive orbs.
I'd also like to point out that Hydra and Thresholder, you're not going to get like a ton of levels, but they do drop a pretty hefty amount of drive orbs at certain points in their fight. Mm-hmm. So if you have
and Master Form's also really good for the Hydra fight as well. Just using Master Form Thunder in that fight is really good. So
yeah, I don't really like my options after I finish STT, honestly. So I'll point out that here. Let me talk about it now to show that you can think about routing while doing stuff. So we've got, looking at my tracker, Beast Castle, which I'm leaning towards right now because I feel like I can finish the rest of the world. I would like Chicken Little, but beggars can't be choosers. Chicken Little for that would be nice, but Halloween Town's actually looking pretty solid. If I was really terrified of something, I'd go level screens on SP. The World That Never Was actually looks really good as a play, honestly. Because I feel incredibly comfortable taking out every boss there. Some people might not, so that might not be your kind of speed. But I actually really think the World That Never Was be a solid play right now, actually. So that's an idea. So the three Halloween Town's also a really good idea. I'm just basically geared up to annihilate every fight in that world. Oh my god, we're not done yet.
Wow. Can't believe we're not done.
Am I gonna do Axel 2? Oh no. The Axel 2? There's one more. There's a 1 out of 3 chance I don't have to do Axel 2. Oh, Meg! That changes everything. I do LOD,
okay.
I think.
Everything's on the table now.
LOD or OC? One of the two. By the way, you can just leave I should have mentioned this at some point earlier. You can just leave STT whatever you want from save points. It's a nice change. You might not know that.
The only real save points you can't leave at is the tutorial for save points because that one doesn't allow you to leave.
Right.
Once you're done with the cutscene, then you can leave.
By the way, I will recustomize my Ether right now. Don't forget to do that if you are like me and have Ether or Ragnarok for some reason. I'll equip this because it's a nice ability to have. I have Limit. I don't have Valor. Valor is the one auto I don't have and the one form I don't have, so I don't really think I should. If anything, I'd actually equip on Final and Auto Limit.
Yeah.
So those are the two I actually want. I'd equip this. Is there any
And I will give you guys a rundown whenever we get Valor form, where are some really good places to level it up. And
So-
most of it is actually boss fights.
The reason I wouldn't do the world, I haven't done the world that ever was to now. There's a lot of reasons, but one of the really good reasons is that if you don't do it, if you don't do Roxas, the shadow spot at the beginning of the world that ever was is an incredibly good Valor spot. So holding off on the world that ever was until you either know drives or did it, or until you could level Valor all the way is one of my preferred things to do. But yeah, with this Magnera at the end of STT, I'd actually really like to push LOD or OC at this point. Maybe Agrabah. But I kinda... Actually, no. Maybe I'd push Agrabah here. But I don't want to do Agrabah too much right now. See, this is where, like, This is where, like, if I had a preferred world or something, like the world I would like to do right now is OC, so I would do OC. But, like, as an objective routing thing, I definitely don't have, like, a really solid answer of what you should do right now. But the fact that I have 2 magnets means that no play I'd make right now I'd consider a bad choice, honestly. Like, everything's pretty solid all around.
Yeah. And my least preferred world is LOD, so I would hold off on that forever. if
Honestly?
I could. Yeah, so if I were to make a play here, it would probably be OC.
Honestly? So, I don't think I have Duck Flare. No. I actually might do here. No, we're trying to keep this simple. OC. I think, if I thought about it really deeply, I think the optimal play is the world that ever was, because I don't think I'll make it faster with any better tools. But OC is a really simple and easy play. Now that I have Magnero, it's just like child's play.
Also, fun thing about OC is that it is a deceptively good place to level Wisdom. And the reason I use deceptively is because in the fight down in Hades Escape here, you are allowed to go into forms because we have the Olympus Stone. However, you can't use your both party member forms, so the forms that take both party members, because Orin has to be in your party.
Mm-hmm.
So here you can either do Valor, Wisdom, or Limit. So for movement reasons and for crowd control reasons, Wisdom is your best bet in here.
Fun.
Valor would just take too long, and Limit doesn't have as good of movement for getting through the area.
Really quick tidbit, if you're in this menu, you can just push start and you instantly get out of it. I don't think people know that, so I'm just saying
Oh my God.
PSA. Oh, hey, Crazy Comics didn't know that. There's your PSA.
Son of a gun.
So, yeah.
I hate that.
So, yeah, here I am, Lovely Quest. I've been ruining Crazy Comics' life.
Hey, it's my turn. I was giving you a hard time. Now it's my turn.
Oh my god, I've ruined his life, bro. Oh, I ever
It's all
go.
good.
Reflect
It's all
Magnet
good.
just sweeps through that area incredibly quickly. I stayed in Wisdom because moving Magnet and I don't know what you call it, the pulsing Magnet and the moving Reflect is really good for that last area. So it wasn't really worth the time to unrevert for the slightly faster movement. I'm not gonna say. Yeah.
There's a really fun quick kill coming up that you can do that is really fun, and we got all the tools to do it.
I think I'll get it, but I'm not good at menuing the Ragnarok quickly, so let's see. So first off, jump reflect.
What? Limit
Oh my god, he hit me.
and Ragnarok.
That kind of annihilates him. Yeah, Ragnarok annihilates servers if you're like even at a remotely decent level. You're not meant to have Ragnarok here. So, they definitely did program any resistances to it, and you just shred through them. Really nice and easy. I'm going to actually save state. I'm not that desperate, actually. But here, I'll equip. Do I have it equipped right now? I do. Okay, so you have all. I'll use two strats for urns. One at the beginning of urns, the tutorial, and one for like the second thing. But I have 2 really good tools for urns that one of them is really popular, and the other one is starting to get popular, but it's like not the most well known, so I'll point them out here real quick. So, I think the really common tool that everyone knows about to some degree, hopefully, is Magnet Burst. It decimates urns. Like really I have Combo Master too, so here's what I'll do. Pew, pew. I have like one draw, so that wasn't great, but that took like 5 seconds. My average non-magnet burst runs are like 11 seconds, so kind of slices my time in half a little. All right, here's the strat I like to use if I don't have magnet splash, burst, whatever. So limit form has a draw inherently, and its finisher goes nuts here. It's not as great as magnet splash, honestly, but it's still pretty darn solid. The only issue is that, but it just keeps happening to me. If you may have noticed that I keep going into the air, but 109 is really good here, honestly. Clearing that before the third wave is just really solid. So the only two strats that really can do that are magnet splash and limit form. So be creative. Use limit form there. You can even level limit form there, hilariously enough. But
Yeah. Oh,
so
what's going on?
informative commentary.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, so we're in the Lost Road. Lots of checks here. Don't get lost. Let's see. Fun fact, you can glide up here to get these checks, and with sh movement, you should always be able to. So don't forget to do that ever. I definitely have not forgotten to do that at any point ever, so this is not from personal experience or anything, haha. No, sir. Alright. Give me a second, actually, real quick.
Yep.
Alright, sorry. Not seeing anything incredibly useful here, to my knowledge. If you get lost, just follow this route I did right here. Very consistent. Gets every chest. All that good stuff. Alright. So now we're about to fight Demix. And, fun fact about Demix with the Olympus Stone, you can do lots of great things with it.
Yeah, this would be another place where Trinity Limit would come in handy.
Yeah, I don't have it, tragically, so we're gonna make do.
Still don't.
So this is the strat you might recognize for being used in Hollow Bastion, Data Demix, you know, all that good stuff. So, if I had thought about it, this would be like the best place to equip those like triple finishing pluses I've got in my back pocket. But 1 minute's what I'd aim for with this strat, but a little bit under a minute, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. And once again, it's not about just being able to do it, it's being able to do it optimally. Just assessing your tools, see what you got.
Without wisdom, I'd say that I take like 50 seconds there.
That would also be a good spot for
my
Magnet
God.
Burst. Oh!
That
well,
was rude.
OC?
Alright, this is where I do LOD now. There is nothing holding me back.
Yeah, go ahead.
LOD,
Yeah, go ahead.
with
do this
Magnega,
world.
you just clear through LOD really, really fast.
The only reason I have disdain for LOD is because it is just a very segmented world. Like, it's like, all right, here we're going to have a buffer, and then we're going to get a few checks, then we're going to have another buffer, and then we're going to have another few checks, and then another buffer. So, like, it's not one where you can just walk in and be like, all right, I'm going to get all of the checks in this world. You got to wade your way through some slow moments to get to like 7 checks.
Ping existing means that you can't use summons or specific forms at points where they would actually be pretty helpful. Like, I know a few points I would love to have a summon specifically.
But this is another good wisdom form leveling spot as well.
I mainly use it here for the magic refill, not for the form level, but yeah, like, if you want to, you could just spin in wisdom form that entire time. And just cranked out, like, 8 or 9 Heartless per mission.
Yep. Also, fun fact, just doing the third mission there gives you the item, so doing that first is usually a good play, just to be like, oh, there's only one check and it was right here at the beginning. Good deal.
I jumped in Magnet because the final guy spawns at the very top, so I wanted to catch him real quick. You do the first mission usually with Magnets just by standing there, and then you grab the chest in the second mission. Just because the second mission's actually really slow, even with Magnega. So it's like I drop a Magnega, catch everything that spawns hopefully, and then grab everything.
Yeah, another good optimal play here is to get these 2 checks
What?
while you're
Wait,
here.
I'm here?
'Cause-
I
Yeah,
didn't think
because
this would be the guy alive. Sorry. I thought I'd be chased by Nightcrawlers.
But it's a good thing checking both those checks, because say Valor Form was the only thing there, you could just walk out from there. Like
Yeah.
that's it. You don't have to go any further. But yeah, so we found
So-
Valor Form.
If it wasn't for the fact that I really don't need a drive form here, I could just use a high drive recovery to keep abusing Wisdom Form up here. But I really don't need a drive form here, honestly.
Plus, you got good enough movement that's just kind of.
So, with Valor Form, I'd actually push the whirlwind out of Wisdom, honestly, if I was like leveling drive still. Because I'd level Valor to as high as it could go, or until I get the final check. And then I would go do the whirlwind was, because that's like basically the main reason I haven't done it yet, is that it's still really good Valor offlane spot, just sitting there. Hey, Trinity.
Oh, there's Trinity.
I can do the Beast Castle strat now.
Yep. But yeah, I'll now that we found Valor Form, we're kind of going through some normal stuff right here. I want to tell you a few bosses that are really good for leveling up Valor Form. Pete in
Specifically, Old Pete's the one I'm thinking that's really easy. You can do it on Future Pete too, but it's actually pretty slow.
I do it on Future Pete because usually one combo knocks him out and knocks him into his next base.
It's mainly the fact that if you mess up, you just lose so much time there compared to Old Pete.
That's true.
But I think it would take a bit of practice, but I definitely don't disagree that Future Pete's a good spot. But carry on, sorry.
Prison Keeper's another good one.
Yeah.
That I would say.
Oogie's the best though. Like Oogie's really free Valor experience.
Yeah. Basically, if you look at any boss and you're like, that's not a nobody or a heartless, go ahead and use Valor on it. Like it is most of the time.
Not
it is
combat
very good.
wise.
But
That is specifically to level your form. We are not recommending you to use Valor as the optimal way to kill the thing because that is not true in the slightest.
correct. Because you got to go through a lot to go to the finisher that would get you to the next thing.
So I would like another Thunder before Beast Castle or Chicken Little, one of the two. So I probably won't push Beast Castle 2 after this. What I will do is I will use my magic up here to get back up to this, and then I will do this. So, alright, now it's kind of pointless. But for funsies, I'm just going to stand up and magnet here, but if you really want to like do something productive here, it's mainly just level limit. I have like double item boost or something, so my ethers do quite a bit of restoration. So I can just do this forever. It's really fun.
Yep. And you can get to 999. I've seen people do. It doesn't mean anything or do anything, but it is nice to see.
I think I get 850 here. 900. Come on. Ah,
895. Close enough.
Close enough. I'm not like trying to optimize it because the experience is terrible, but it's still nice to have. It's still nice to have. All right, start there. Amazing, top tier strategy.
Also, another fun place to level up Valor Form. If you have the defense for it, especially in beginner, like this is a really good strat. Go into Port Royal, the 1 minute fight. Just whack on the pirates there. They don't even need to be in the moonlight. Just whack on them just normally, and that counts towards your Valor levels. So I would go there and just beat the crap out of them as much as you can in the time allotted you.
Demix's water clones in Olympus Coliseum also count towards your Valor level. So if you don't have a faster way to do it, you can just Valor there.
Right. And MCP. If you go up against MCP and you're in Valor form when you're doing Tron's thing where he's shooting a laser at MCP, that gets you a lot of Valor levels, or Valor XP right there.
We might even see. I might even try to demonstrate that if we have to go that far at SP. Look forward.
Oh, yeah. That'll be cool.
Alright, I'm going to show off a trick here, because I might as well. Don't be expected to know how to do this, but the basic gist of it, I will be on my master form, I will jump, I will aerial dodge, I will reflect, I will go into master, I will aerial dodge again, I will spam reflects, I will revert, aerial dodge, reflect, I will go to my menu, I will use a high drive recovery because I want to be safe. I will menu back to master. I will jump, reflect, 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 revert, aerial dodge, go up. Easy. Not easy, but that's showing you skill. Basically, the load zone's like a really thin box right in front of, like right over there. So if you could jump over, well, you're gonna be here.
Yeah, and you can just stare into their cold dead eyes as they do nothing.
Or you can loot the throne room early, but that's also a possibility.
Oh, yeah. Looting throne room is also really good. So that's 8 checks right there.
Promise charm.
Promise charm. It was the first check that you looked at.
Unironically, on beginner, it might be easier just to level with promise charm compared to the way you would do it in crit, because getting experience boost range is torturous. Like, actually.
Yeah.
Just the time spent getting an experience boost makes it probably faster than promise charm, honestly.
Right. Well,
Alright.
given how much levels you get here with like the EXP booster, like it should be fine. You shouldn't have any need for the middle screen, but in the unlikely chance that you need it, it's there, and I would use that last. Like I would go there at the end of your seat to finish off levels.
Yeah, no, like, I wouldn't say that, like, it's like the optimal base level, but it's probably easier. That's pretty relevant. Yep. Alright, here, I don't want that. Put this on. Alright, let's clean through the world, whatever it was, real quick. So, the reason I'm doing this is that A, I don't want this louder leveling spot anymore, and B, I have Reflaga. And those two things kind of put together means that I think I'm confident enough in going up there. If there's anything you want for the world that never was that I don't have right now, go do other worlds instead and look for those. But I don't think this will ever get faster. And there's a couple of things I would want for the other worlds, so I'm looking for those right now. So, by the way, here's where I level Valor. I'll demonstrate for a bit. You just kind of nilly-willy whack shadows. Earlier in the game, you don't kind of annihilate them as much as I'm doing right now, so they're really good just hit sponges. And that's really what you want in Valor form. So, I'm going to zone out, but you do that over and over again. And you get the idea.
And you room transition, you get your drive back.
Yep.
Go right back to it. So.
Yep. Also a good spot to force final if you have light and dark. So,
yep.
If you have light and dark, by the way, you need roughly 5 anti-forms to get final. So basically, like, anywhere you would automatically revert and get your drive back is a pretty good spot to try. There's a lot of those. That's, like, probably the most common and easiest to remember, but there's a lot.
I was so hoping for, like, the important checks to be in those first few checks.
I'm just done. I never have to go anywhere. Alright, so Roxas. I have, like, nothing optimal equipped for this. Alright, I kind of messed that up really badly, but you can see he's already almost dead. Whereas if I was trying to quick run him, I'd already be still trying to take his keyblades, honestly. So...
yeah, to kind of explain that strat that he was doing there, out of the opening attack, you reflect him. What you would want for this is Combo Master and Explosion. What you would do is you would reflect, do an explosion, and then do a thunder or a blizzard or something to get him back into wanting to attack you. And when he does the swinging keyblades, comes down on top of you, reflect, explosion, thunder, he comes back down upon you, and yeah, it's basically
if you want a more, that's like the correct explanation. I just think that there's a lot of strats you could come up with where using either thunder or blizzard, you force him to do something you know he's gonna do, and then you can consistently come up with a reaction that punishes him and allows you to keep it going throughout the entire fight. So there's variations of that strat using guard break, finishing leap, guard, lots of things you can do in that fight if you know what you're doing. I know somebody
Now-
in the random Discord spent a bunch of time coming up with this strat where you use nothing but like reflects and like ground finishers that are like not even special ground finishers. So, oh, that's really good. That makes me want to do Beast Castle after this actually, because now I can do
Yeah,
the
'cause
fast chicken little strat for Thresholder, Shadow Stalker.
Yeah, I want to know this because I don't know what you're talking about. So I kind of want to see this.
Final form to kill those, by the way. A really good experience early on, but you probably should not be going here early on. So hopefully you don't need that experience, is what I'll say. Good final experience though. I'll look at my Keyblades, but I'm kind of content with my Kingdom Key with air combo boost for this fight. I'll put that on final, actually. Light and Darkness was here. If you find Light and Darkness, you could... Here, I'll even showcase it real quick. But after... You just need to be cognizant of where it's possible, and then I think you could identify them for yourselves if you're paying attention. But... Alright, so Zigbar. I'm gonna do probably the easiest strat I know of, and hopefully it doesn't go that over your head.
Yeah. The thing is, we're showing you these optimal plays and everything like that, not because we're afraid you guys are going to die, because, I mean, it's beginner, and by the point you come here, you shouldn't die in a few hits to these guys. So, it's mostly just for time.
Alright, so I know this is probably a little slower than just like bum rushing him, but I'm a little afraid I'll mess it up, so I'm going to just do the safe strat. I'm going to wait for him to room transition. I'm going to kind of sit up here. Alright. So, I'm going to do this first thing. Fire, magnet. Fire, magnet. And then now that he's about to die, instead of doing a magnet, I just do another finisher. You need a finishing plus for that. That's a really nice and easy final form move that a lot of people might know.
Yeah. So basically, it's just before you do a finisher on him, you do magic to keep him stunned. And if you got a finishing plus, you can do like 2 fires going down, or you can do a fire and a magnet, or you can just do a magnet. There's a bunch of different variations on it, but that's usually like the easiest one to do. You might also know about doing Berserk Charge and Horizontal Slash. That's a little more difficult, but it's also pretty consistent.
So,
But yeah.
I'm just pointing out here real quick that I know that the area behind me is a place where I will revert to a spot where I will get all my drive back, so I can use Light of Darkness here to force final. And if you're like paying attention, you'll probably recognize a lot of these spots throughout the game. So just be on the lookout for these if you want to force final. Common ones are Halloween Town. We're actually still at that spot right now, so I can show that real quick. We're still at the Spotted Space Paranoids too, so I can show that one. And actually, those are the 2 most common, honestly. So those are the 2 I'd recommend if you had to like.
Agrabah also has a good one.
Yeah, all right.
Outside the castle gates or palace gates.
Yeah,
Before you go to the Cave of Wonders.
that one's a little awkward just because of the fact that you tend to. That's probably the best, but it's a little awkward just because you don't think about that spot. But it's a really good spot for sure. All right.
It's also really early as well. So
I probably should have unequipped my high jump max, but we'll be fine. I know what I'm doing. Vaguely. I'll probably die.
And I'll try to explain what you're doing vaguely. So in this fight, immediately jump back. Like as soon as you get turned into a die, jump back. Like that is the first big thing you want to learn about this.
If you have Reflera or higher, you will automatically kill the cards if you reflect while he jumps. If you, it doesn't matter your magic stat. I wouldn't do it with Reflect because Reflect tends to miss and get you hit. So with Reflera and Reflect, it automatically kills. But otherwise, I would never do it. I didn't think it jumped that way, honestly.
Also, interesting thing, if you're on PC and you're looking for the cards to come at you and everything like that, on 60 frames per second, they might not. So if you want to turn the game down to 30 frames per second going into this fight, it'll be more consistent, the cards coming towards you. So.
I got it. I didn't think I'd get it.
Somehow getting this DM skip.
So
Wow.
basically, when he enters his DM health, he will not do anything. He'll attempt to DM, but if you keep him staggered, so I did that with limit form R's there. I didn't think the R's would stagger him, which is why I was surprised. But if you can keep him staggered until he dies, he will just do nothing. So people usually use limit form R's for that, or Shiny Limit.
Also, a good marker of when he is about to go into his DM is if you see on the staff there where there's like the slant line. There's the bar itself, and then above there is like the slant lines with the names and everything like that. The edge of that slant line is close to when he will go into his DM. So that's a good marker to be like, okay, he's going to go into his DM soon. Now I just need to keep attacking him and keep him stunned going into that. Also another good loop. Syax is a pretty easy fight. It's just do some reflexes. He's coming towards you. You can slip in a few magic spells. But yeah, he is a really easy fight. Ton of tools to face him at this point. So
if you wouldn't
really
kill
that
him
much
before that
problem.
berserk bar, what you would do is go into limit form or final form or any form you have available to you, and just do some combos with the form, because you can stagger him for a long time with the form. But that's basically what the fight should look like with optimal tools. I had to hard menu Blizzard, and I had plenty of time. So if you customize Blizzard like a smart person would, you'll be fine. Literally no struggles.
One more thing before we move too far past him. One other thing with Luxor that Key was doing pretty early on to keep him staggered is doing a combo where it is jump, attack, attack.
Here, I'll
so
try to
you
show
jump
it
and
here.
do.
Oh, well, this is probably not the enemy to show it on, but doop.
Son
come
of-
on. Doop. Doop.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Where's
Lord.
the berserker? I'll do it on the berserker.
Okay.
There,
Yeah.
this
so
guy.
jump,
Doop.
attack,
Doop.
attack.
Doop.
Jump, attack, attack.
Doop. For the first phase, until you'll learn the HP value exactly, but for the first phase, you'll want to do that 3 times. For the second phase, you want to do that like 2 times.
Yeah. And so, like when you're doing it, after a certain amount of times, he'll go into one of 2 moves. His swing his cards at you, or he'll put you into the mini game. If you're in the mini game, just reflect and go back into it. If he does the cards, jump away, let the cards come to you, reflect, and then start going back into it. So you can loop him pretty well with that strategy, and it's not too hard. Just jump, attack, attack.
Something to note is that if I found the last important check there, the last blue number in that room, I would just turn around and leave. But I didn't, so we're here.
Yeah.
I might have made that with a high jump. You could, if you have aerial spiral, slide dash, or flash step. I think aerial spiral is the tightest timing of them. You can try to hit him before he does the building move. It's possible, but it's kind of finicky.
Flash step is the easiest one to use. Use on there.
It's in order of easiest to hardest: flash step, slide dash, aerial spiral.
Yeah, so
Alright.
you can keep him from going into the building. Not entirely, because that will be his first move, but... yeah.
Double reaction boost kind of slaughters his HP there with that.
Yeah. Also, having ungodly stats at this point is also really good. Also, look at this. This man is nowhere close to killing you. So if you go to him at this point, you will be absolutely fine.
Yeah, this is why.
Also, go into limit form and
Messed that up. All right, good talk.
yeah, screw up.
All right, here I'll show you the building skill.
So
There you go. Here,
get him on the stairs.
got him.
When he's in the air, he's vulnerable, so you can just because he'll go into his falling animation. So you just
Pro tip:
do
don't
anything.
be like that. Try to get him higher in the air. I took a very big risk trying to get him low in the air like that. All right, so at this point in the seed, you should have the tools to do whatever the world you want at this point. Honestly, we're kind of a little bit past the routing point, but so let me think. We have this, this, and this. I'm gonna do Beast Castle now, but know that I would probably not oppose any or different orders for what we have right now. Like end game, I think for ABN is just clean up. You just need to be nice and solid. Like you're just cleaning up everything. Some seeds cleanup is really long, or like you have all your tools, but you just gotta go everywhere. I forgot to summon Chicken Little. I'm gonna mess up the strat. Whatever.
Yeah, because I wanted to see this strat because
You summon
don't
Chicken.
know this one.
You summon Chicken Little, and it's pretty cool. But hang on, let's see if it works. All right, that messed up. I griefed. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can get him.
Oh.
Oh, he broke out of that. So the idea is that I get a thunder hit explosion off. Alright, I messed that strat up royally, and if I wish I could kind of like just quickly yeet myself out of the ether. Did I just... Wow, alright, this is a really terrible fight. Pro tip, this is not how you want this fight to look. Just Final Thunder him. There we go. Pro tip,
Yeah.
that was probably not how that fight should have looked. I just wanted to show off that chicken strat, but I forgot to summon chicken. So, that went pretty bad. Backup strats, though, pretty great. Alright, this fight's pretty free. You do this. Wee. I don't have an ether. Why do I not have an ether? How did I run out of ethers? I bought ethers.
Should not have run out of ethers.
You saw me buy ethers, right? I'm not crazy.
I saw you buy ethers.
How did I? I'm gonna look. Did I put them on auto reload? That might be the funniest thing I've done this entire time.
That might be it. Yeah, and if you don't have final form for that fight, Beast is your friend.
Oh, Beast Limit immediately kills him. It's so good.
It's just spam
Am I just-
triangle.
Oh,
X.
no way. I used 2 ethers on the first fight.
Oh, does that carry over?
I didn't know that
realize
carried over. Yeah, I was just like, am I out of ethers? It's kind of
You
weird.
always learn something new playing this rando, so.
Yeah. Alright. We're gonna go here. Like I said, at this point, I'm just doing this out of personal preference. There's really no, like, incredibly optimal order I can think of to doing these now, because I have basically all the tools I want for each world. Maybe Agrabah 2, I'd want, like, another Thunder or something, but I'm not, like, gonna sweat it. Oh, by the way, Magnet into Beast Limit just, eviscerates them. Maybe not the fastest strat, but it always works.
Yeah.
Because, they will, like, Beast Limit pulls everything towards you, and Magnet does damage to everything that gets pulled towards you. Hey, Bulky Mender, I'll show you how to get this one. You break the thing, and he's just right there, vibing, having a good time. I think there's another one. I don't remember.
I honestly don't use them, so I
grab it.
don't-
I grabbed it because sometimes you come here early for reasons beyond my imagining. But
yeah, you just get the god tier play and just go.
just go. Roll with it. Alright. Talk to Beast. Please be done. Pepe hands, bro.
Oh yeah, my boy. I
All
love
right.
Zaldin. Like I think Zaldin's probably one of my favorite fights to.
With my no glide forward, this is probably faster to do this.
Yeah, this is
Alright.
another situation where you exit the world, re-enter the world, and it will put you in another save slot. Kind of like how we did with DC earlier.
You want to be aggressive with these Dragoons, or else you're going to kind of just whiz around the place. So I'm going to just immediately magnet them before they do anything. These guys are just gonna,
Everything just dies.
yeah, they're going to kind of drop in. Oh no, do I have Invisible Dragoon? I got Invisible Dragoon!
Wow. Yeah, this is something that can happen also in that elevator. Just depending on what you do for these fights and everything like that, it just yeah, a Dragoon will be invisible for no real reason, I would say.
I don't know why this happened precisely, but this is a really, really... Oh, here it is.
There we go.
I think their
Ah,
jump
boy.
gets messed up or something, so they just don't show up properly, but they're there.
Yeah.
But the point is that you just have to wait a long time for them to show up again. I don't have any good advice on avoiding it, so good luck. Zolden, I sucked at this fight. This is probably my worst fight ever. I'm not even
I
exaggerating.
love this fight, man. So good.
Oh, what?
Oh man, he was gonna go into his jump.
I know, so I was gonna interrupt it, but I didn't think he'd just DM.
So another fun thing, if you don't have the drive in final form to go for this, and you used it in the Dragoon fight like how he just did, attack him until your drive runs out, then immediately go into Beast Limit. Like Beast Limit will help you just tear through. Like right now, like you could go into Beast Limit and just destroy this man.
Oh yeah, you are incredibly right about that.
Yeah, go ahead, kill him. He's done.
So yeah, his H bar kind of shreds. I was trying to do like the official thing, but no, Beast Limit shreds. So just do that.
Oh, yeah. It's no good.
All right. I'll do a quick trip through the Promise Charm Room so you can see what the experience is like, because we just got the last proof.
It's experience.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about leveling too much in the settings because experience is kind of cracked here. So let's see how let's see how powerful we get.
Everything's pretty cracked here, so I mean,
I think we get 4,000 per bulky vendor. Yeah, so it's like 2 a level now, roughly.
get 4,000.
Beginner gives you
beginner.
crit like
Okay.
0.75s it, I think, or something.
Yeah, it's 3,000 for crit, so 3,000 or 3,500. Something like that.
I mean, that mansion's also better. Well, so the Twilight Town mansion spot we showed earlier is generally where the optimal spot to experience grind. But if you're as buff as I am, or if you're also just like packing the HP, you're just gonna take forever to lose it. So this is probably just easier.
If you're basically done with the seed, except for like one more check on levels, like this is a fine play.
Yeah. All right.
If all else fails and you don't go that far into TT, if you don't go to other drive spots that are really good, just go there.
All right. So only a couple spots left. I'll just go in GOA order. So we'll go here now. Backwards GOA order, I should say. GOA order would technically be SP first, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So Chasm of Challenges. I want Magnera for this. Nothing else really. A form is really good for this because I can level it up here, but I'm not gonna like wait for a form or anything. I'd wait for Magnet. I wait for Magnet. Pro tip, you can like jump and kind of fall earlier. It's not like, I'm not super consistent at it, but it's like a small, minute time save. And
Speedrun strat.
it is. And might as well show it to you. If you have Valor, it's actually not a bad form of level here, but it's really slow compared to just using the thingy, the magnets. If you can find them.
Master's also a good leveling thing here.
Uh,
Because of all the drive orbs. And,
Oh, yeah. 100%.
it also has its own natural magnet in one of its finishers. So even if you don't have magnet by this point, or you want to push it early, yeah, this.
Oh,
is
there's
a good
2
play.
checks here
So that means there's
Aw.
1 check left
in each world.
everywhere else.
Yep. So the worst place it could be is Lexaeus. So absent silhouettes are on for this tournament, so Lexaeus has a possibility of having a check. We're gonna call this the 1K strat. I'm gonna magnet a lot.
Magnet a lot and everything's just gonna die.
Yep. Did an explosion there to get rid of the large bodies with that last magnet, and presto. That's all you want, a good magnet for that fight. You just choose through it immediately. Without a magnet, you'd probably like reflect the silver rocks and throw them, and I don't know, a master finisher like Crazy Comics was saying, but
Yeah.
just try your best to have a magnet there. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
If you don't have magnet, the legitimately reflect's really good there too. Thunder's also really good. Valor form's not bad there. There's no shadow or anything, so you can just keep walking around with Valor form and slapping things. I won't call
also
it.
well, Go ahead and finish your thought.
I was gonna say, I won't call this the optimal strat, but it's really darn good.
But the Lords is also a really good grind place for most forms except for Final, sadly.
Final's the fastest, which is sad, because
Final is the fastest here, but like in terms of like, there's a bunch of Heartless that spawn, so it's good for Wisdom. You can do your limits here for limit form. Valor form, you can smack the crap out of them. Master form, those little guys drop drive orbs. So, I mean, everything's.
So what I was doing there is I was using Refleg on the fire pools that the guy, like, belly flopping down creates. And Refleg is just large enough to just smack him over and over. And the reason why Final's the best form there is that Final's the form that has the most mobile reflex, so you can kind of, like, maneuver your Reflect into the enemies instead of just kind of hoping they fall into you. So, it works out pretty well there. Alright. Agrabah 2. I am awful at this, so please excuse
it's an
any
awful
terrible
place to be. So.
Please excuse any bad gameplay on my end. It's not that bad if you have. I don't think I'll die here or anything because beginner. But I will definitely probably mess up some strat here, so forgive me. All right, so you go here immediately. Just hold up. There's probably a strat where you can like optimize your height or something so you don't ride the ground, but holding up's fast enough. I shouldn't say that. Try to not ride the ground, but holding up and holding a little bit on your height is probably good enough. Thing about the carpet is that you want to kind of go in straight lines as much as humanly possible, otherwise you're never going to gain speed. So like here, I'm going to go in a straight line, and then I'm going to slightly adjust myself. Slight adjustments. Slight adjustments. Notice how I keep full speed, but if I try to turn, look at me. I just kind of immediately full stop, so you want to just do slight touches as much as possible. And that saves a lot of time compared to, like, a lot of things we've been talking about this seat, so do your best to try to practice that. Just a slight touch. Hitting the 3 switches is, I'm gonna be kind of honest, like a lotto sometimes, because the enemies can occasionally spawn near you and just absolutely destroy your life. But I like to go to this one first.
Same.
Alright. Lock on. Get that. Nice. Straight line. Right to the Blizzard one. Let's go down. Menu
If
Blizzard.
you're really feeling not confident about the enemies being around you and everything like that, just throw a magnet a little ways away. It'll tie them up for a little bit, and then
so I'm getting you're seeing kind of what I meant earlier is that the fortune tellers are just obliterating me in terms of moving my Blizzard around, so I'm actually gonna kill the enemies. If you're like really good at your movement, that won't happen, but I was not good at my movement apparently, or I did something wrong, so. Oh, I didn't realize I never hit that tower. Alright, slight movements. Alright, not slight enough, but the idea is that if I keep making very slight left turns, I would have hopefully just make it there without causing any issues. Get the fire. Alright. It could have been worse, but that Blizzard switch was off. But yeah. If you're having trouble, don't be like me and try to do it optimally anyway. Just kill the enemies and do the switch. And if you're at a point in the game where killing the enemies and doing the switch causes you issues, you probably should go somewhere else, honestly. Thundaga.
And there you go.
Beautiful. Alright.
Cool. We don't have to fight Jafar.
Let me think. I think we'll just do Halloween Town next. It's not
Halloween Town's fast.
Yeah. By the way,
Fast world to go.
you can force final here. So what you would do is, this is like a really common, probably the second most popular. Pine.
I'd
Maybe
say most
third.
popular.
Okay, Space Paranoids I thought might be the most popular, but
I never used Space Paranoids.
it's okay. So we'll call Halloween Town.
If I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, so that's the spot where you'd force final potentially. Keeping final forcing spots in mind is a really good habit, just because you could just force final en route if you find the Keyblade with light and dark, instead of just walking to a place to force final, you know? So there's a difference. Let's go. I'll just thunder him. So
Thunder
Prison
him.
Keeper, here, I'll try to, let's see what phase he does. If he does barrel, I'll show you that you can shock. Alright, shock you want to actually just wail on him.
My advice to you guys, if you were leveling Valor form on this fight, do not go into Valor if Barrel is the first choice, because
Barrel's a nightmare. Hang on.
he's a nightmare
Lock.
unless you have.
All right. Barrel basically has, since we're not going to get Barrel, Barrel basically has Prison Keeper just rush you, like, constantly.
Yeah, he is just going to run at you, chomping, and things are just going to be bad news, baby.
Here, I'll show you. This strat's really easy. You dance call him.
And that's it.
Amazing.
You just dance call.
Top
Yeah,
tier
the other
strats.
experience boost.
Yeah, if you were like really desperate, now leveling in Twilight Town might actually be worth it for, since we have 2 experience boosts. But still a hassle. But probably faster now. Yeah. But we have 44 defense, and armor only makes up like 16 of it, so I'm not really sure if I'd call it faster. But
Yeah.
main problem with experience boost strats is that you really need a reliable way. I mean, you could get into the data axle actually and have them just kind of evaporate you. Now that I think about it, be really, really out of your way though.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Oogie Boogie, randomizer Oogie Boogie, freest thing in your life, honestly. So box 1, box 2, box 3. He says, "Ugh, that's right, away you go."
Yeah. Ugh means he's throwing a dice, and
I'll squash you
smart-
flat.
I'll squash you flat. Is yeah, he's gonna bring down a
All right,
fist.
so he says
don't
that.
be right close up.
Quick run, easy.
Quick run. Good.
Even level 1 quick run should be good enough to get you past that, and if it isn't, you might have to position a little bit, but oh, by the way, here, Valor leveling. Nice and easy.
There you go.
Oogie doesn't do anything because Arando takes out the HP gates, so he doesn't do his second and third phase, so you could just wail on him comfortably with Valor. Alright, we're not done yet. That means we gotta do Halloween Town 2. The nice thing about Halloween Town 2 that even if you're doing it with low tools, all you really would want for it is like a draw and a reflect, really, to make it fast. You can do this with pretty minimal tools, if I'm being honest. Of course, you'd want more tools than minimal, but having minimal tools doesn't make this too much worse. I think I still have Goofy in my party. No, I don't. They just put Jack in my party anyway. It's actually really good news. So reflect, wait for Block to throw the candy cane, reflect that at the dance call, and they just... Well, depending on your magic set, they either get instantly wiped or they almost die immediately. So, I'm bad at golf today, apparently. So, my golfing skills leave a lot to be desired. Money pouch.
Second money pouch.
If you didn't have a money pouch by this point, a lot of the strats I'd be doing, I'm doing like basically no money pouch strats. So you might have seen me use forms to go through. Oh, here, I'll show you how to get this one. You spin. And there's another one on the other side, I believe. Not worth the effort for me, but it's pretty nice. Pretty solid experience, actually, because Agrabah and Halloween Town are like the last 2 world, like the highest level worlds of bulky vendors. So they're worth a decent chunk of experience, honestly. Alright. This upcoming strat, I used to be really good at it, but now I suck at it, so if I fail it and get graveyarded, I'm gonna apologize preemptively. Basically, what you want to do is you kind of want to reflect. You want to reflect one of their initial hits and immediately dance call. So there we go. There it is. Basically, by reflecting and then dance calling a little bit with a delay, you'll basically use dance call's kind of magnet thing to draw in all the presents they have, and that's a lot nicer than dealing with graveyards with presents. So try that strat if you can, please. And if all 3 of your reflects are past that, you have like the most cursed seed known to man, I swear. So hopefully you'll reflect for that. Big box.
So here, yeah. So here, I actually do have strats for this. I try to aim towards boxes that are slightly beside each other, so that way, like, you're not wasting any presents and stuff like that. like theoretically, you would only have to reload once, like in the ways that I play that. So
All right. So SP, last place. You like leaving SP for as late as possible, honestly, because of the fact that. Oh, here we can force final. So let me show that real quick. Quick run here. Go back. Final. Nope. Move on with life. So that's how you force final there. If you're unfamiliar with forcing final, it's really not that hard. Just go ask in the random Discord, honestly, please. Somebody can explain to you in like a minute. Better than I probably ever will. But basically, you need a certain number of anti-forms to get final form. So Light and Dark gives you guaranteed anti-form. So basically, having a spot where you can just repeatedly anti-form is really nice. I leave Space Paranoids for last because you could get the double experience boost that we have here. You could get, you could level Valor here, you can level Wisdom here, but leaving SP for last is pretty nice until you get one of those things, and then you use it to get like those things knocked out of the way. So for example, if I needed to level the seed, I would do SP once I had double experience boost and get all my level checks out of the way there, as much as I could at least. Since I don't need to do that, I'm just going to blitz through this as fast as possible. And the thing about having this kind of stats is Magnega with like above the magic cap one-shots them, and yeah, it's really not fair to them. These enemies kind of just get annihilated. So you save a lot of time if you can do this just instantly like that, but a lot of the time you want to spend the time through experience boosting or form grinding or what have you, you know? If you're unfamiliar with how to speed experience boost there, honestly check out a speedrun of that game. They show it a lot better than I think words would ever will. Basically, what they do is that they pull out Stitch, because Stitch deflects everything in that room, and they just magnet finish and basically everything to death. Very efficient. Very nice.
yep, and Stitch keeps you stocked on magic, so
Yep.
never run it.
This upcoming fight, you can use Tron Limit, which is probably the strat I'll show off, but I'd probably normally use Final Thunder here, because it's probably faster at this point, but Tron Limit's just really reliable no matter your stats, so I'll show it off real quick. So the strat I like to do is quick run to the wall, Tron Limit. I somehow got really, really far off the wall, but I guess that's the animation. So you just border the wall, and Sora hitting the wall actually speeds us up, so it's faster, and you can just watch his HP just drain. Like, some of that was me hitting it, but his HP just kind of gets melted by this limit. And if you have a draw or two, you can quickly just set up the freeze for next phase. Did I not do an air combo there? Amazing. Alright. Final. Use whatever your strongest form here is, or limit. You can do a lot of things here. I'm just going to use Final Thunders. Basically, if you have decent tools, you can kill him in that freeze no matter what. Just wait for him to do like the laser hand move before you freeze him, or else he's going to be invincible. Nobody wants that in your life.
Yeah, and if you do it once he starts moving his lasers, by the time he starts moving, he should move directly behind where you're going to be.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of practicing it until he lines up with you.
All right, so I'm going to say this right now. If you wait to do SP2 until you can do this fight comfortably, because you will die here a lot if you have no idea what you're doing. These Devastators, actually, you're not going to die a lot, but it's going to be really terrible. If you have, like, no...
Sit.
It's going to be terrible, yeah. The Devastators just do not show any mercy. They will just kind of chain combo you, and even on beginner, you might die just getting... Because what Devastators, the big purple guys, what they do is they kind of just combo you for, like, a long time. And combos just do a lot of small hits. And even on beginner, a lot of small hits is no bueno. You do not want to be tickled to death. Here, let one hit me, actually. Not that attack. I want...
Which one?
I want the rush attack, but he's not doing it. So I guess I'm just really lucky all of a sudden.
Well, where he comes and electrocutes you.
Yeah. Whatever. You know what? I'm just gonna... You're all gonna be as lucky as I am. That's it. Just be as lucky as I am. But basically, the attack where he rushes you, that can do a lot of decent damage, even with my stats, so... Be a little worried. But, yeah. Until you can do that beginning fight really quickly, like I did, don't really bother with this area. I'll show off a strat here. If you're having trouble with this fight, just Tron Limit. It kind of evaporates everything. Here, where did the other guy go? Why is he in the air? What? He was above me. I didn't know Tron Limit could put him up there. Anywho, Tron Limit just does good things. And then once they're all dead, you stop the limit early, go in, easy. So there's there is faster ways to do that, but Tron Limit's incredibly consistent. Very easy. All you need to do is have the magic to use it. So, when in doubt in SB2, Tron Limit. Except that first fight, you don't get Tron Limit in that fight, which is why I specifically mentioned that fight as the fight you need to get prepared for. Solar Simulator, if you're really strong, just reflect Thunder through it, but if you're not, Tron Limit through it. I'm actually gonna summon.
One strat I use is I use Master Form Fire. Just kind of shoots you across the Solar Sailor and just takes everything with them.
Yeah.
So there's
Master's
a lot of
the best
ways.
form, I'd say, but I would agree that Wisdom Form, Master Form, Final Form Fire, they're all really good at... What is not spawning? Oh, that was really weird. Alright, that normally never happens. The 3 Devastators are usually the last things that spawn, but I guess they spawned early for reasons? Really strange, really strange.
I sometimes get those little guys. Earlier.
MCP. Alright.
Wow.
Hang on. This is beginner, so I won't really think this is a super important strat, but not that.
Here, we can also show Valor leveling on
yeah,
on
remind me to do that if I don't, because I will if I'm not doing it, because I should do that. I'll probably Final Fire here, but know that if you struggle with Sark for some ungodly reason, just Tron Limit him. That's pretty good. So, you may recognize this strat. It works on Sark. Fun fact.
It also works on Demix. It works on.
It works on a lot
everything.
of bosses. So
Everything, really.
Just use Final Form Fire. Don't do the finisher, and it's gravy. But yeah, Final Form is just a really nice and good form for lots of bosses. So, having it leveled as high as I do means that I can just kind of nilly-willy use it as much as I please. Also, that's a really terrible damage. Are you serious? Alright, wow. Alright, you know what? Kind of goofed off a little bit there. My bad. Alright, hang on, let me get... I need my good buddy Goofy. So this is a cool strat. Reflect evaporates those, if you can get one while it's spinning. And Valor.
And so you might end up seeing...
There you go.
There, level. Yeah, each one of those, as his health is just slowly chunking away, counts as one.
I took the damage on purpose just so I could try to get another Valor level. But, alright, run away from Sark here. Get Needle Dive. Only shows up if you're far away enough, so if you're not getting this thing, you're not far away enough. Or he's actually really high health. If he's really that high health, wow, you did something incomparably wrong. You can almost always get him to, like, this phase immediately, no matter your strength stat. Oh. Wow.
Well,
that was unfortunate.
Alright.
Yes.
Okay, you can stop.
Alright. And I got Valor
There's
7. It's on Larxene.
It's on Larxene. That's neat.
I am so bad at Larxene. Alright.
I love how this seed was just like, You know what? You're getting to the end of the video. No, you're not.
No, you're not. All right.
You're not done yet.
So Larxene is pretty great if you have Reflega, and they're not pretty great if you don't have Reflega. I don't know why you spawn here. I'm gonna be completely honest. I feel like the GOA should spawn you next to the Larxene portal, but I digress. That's a different thing altogether.
One thing I'd say with the ABN is if you ever come across like, oh, it's on Absent Silhouette and everything like that, and you're not sure about the fight and everything like that, leave them for last. You'll have most of your equipment. You'll have highest levels you can possibly get, and so it should go a lot easier. Just with higher numbers.
Alright, so what I did there was I used the Final Fire into a Limit Form R's combo. Both of them are pretty good at stun locking bosses if they're like not already trying to break out. So it's pretty consistent on a lot of the organization members in particular, except Zigbar, where you can just either Final Fire or Limit Form them until they're basically unable to break out. That's separate. Guarded. Alright, so right, I need to show that piece castle fight real quick. Oh no, wait.
Yeah. It was an LOD. It was the Rock.
Right. Okay. Alright. While I'm doing this for the fun of it, we can talk about some general ABN thoughts, I guess, while I go look for this tranny at the end LOD mountain climb. Alright, so any large sweeping thoughts you want to point out that we may not have gone to in the seed?
Not really. I think we touched upon a lot of it. But obviously we can't show off every possible seed combination, every possible ability of items that you can get and everything like that. So I just say take what we said about what you need going into certain worlds and use that to help you formulate a plan and everything like that. 100 Acre Wood is your best friend when you really need to think. What are some of the other ones? If you don't feel absolutely confident about doing something, do not do it. Just go do something else that you feel more confident in. Yeah, it'll be more optimal in the long run, and it'll minimize your deaths and your mistakes and everything like that.
So, quick thought is that I had Magnera when I was doing this earlier, but with base magnet, I have to be a lot more precise and like on the ball, trying to like grab these things. And in this mission up here, you'll see, magnet's not very good. I'm trying to point out where they escape, but so first off, it takes a lot longer for these guys to die. That guy up there has to like basically like, hug my magnet for it to work. That shadow spawned next to my magnet and didn't die. And I have to like jump all the way up here for this magnet, where before I could just jump a little bit. So Magnera means you had to put in a lot less effort, and Magnega means you had to put in no effort. And well, you could try to compensate with base magnet by like doing a bunch of fancy fire strats or explosions, but just having magnet is so much faster. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for them to all come to me. Or he's just not going to come to me. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I didn't open the chests because we're just going for training limit real quick. But...
So. I think it's on the plateau, the one with the two chests.
Back a mountain climb, I'm pretty sure. You're right. Yeah. If it's not there, I'll just spoiler lock it, honestly. I'm not gonna like.
I guarantee it's in this room at the very least.
Yeah. This is why magnets would have been nice here. I didn't use magnet because I didn't think it'd be helpful. The magnet there, let's see.
Thank you.
Magnet would basically just prevent me from ever getting psyched by that soldier or a nightcrawler. Let's see. This chest back here. If I'm not mistaken.
What's that guy?
Beautiful.
Heck.
Alright. Let me think if I have any general advice. You really need to be cognizant of what tools would make a world faster. So, like, Magnera for this world, or OC, for example. Like, you want to be looking for those tools, and you want to be, like, you want to learn to be better at making snap judgments about which world can be done as quickly as possible with your current tools. So, for example, once you get Trinity Limit, right, East Castle is, I won't say entirely free, but it's really fast. And in beginner ABN, your goal is usually not to worry about dying too much. It's mainly to be trying to optimize as much as possible. So routing better and like, I need to equip Trinity Limit, don't I? That would be really helpful for showing off the power of Trinity Limit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Just take off auto limit. All right.
We don't need it.
There you go. So, walk in the fight. Things to know. Feel free to like just level grind or do whatever you need to do to be comfortable with an area. Don't like just try to blitz it like I did with basically every area. I feel like I should be the exception to the rule here, but I did try to showcase a couple of easy strats to learn for what I was doing, but in general, just if you're not comfortable with something, don't do it. Also, Trinity Limit, beautiful.
There we go. Boom.
That's why that was the one thing that was worth safe stating and going all the way back for.
Yeah, just use square or do triangle away from it, and then hit the same button.
Yeah. If you're on PC, by the way, I'm not on PC. If you may not or may not have noticed, but if you're on PC, Duck Flare basically can substitute literally any strat I was talking about because Duck Flare is really good, like unbelievably good. It's on 60 FPS, right?
Yes. 60 FPS is really good Duck Flare. So
really good Duck Flare is something you need to be cognizant of because it will carry fights for you. Like that Zigbar, if you're having trouble with Zigbar, just Mega Duck Flare, throw 2 ethers and just keep Mega Duck Flaring. It does wonders. So as an example, like almost every fight with party members can be cheesed with Mega Duck Flare to some degree. So just keep that in mind if you ever struggle. I didn't use summons too much because I had Final Form, but summons are pretty handy. I use Chicken Little actually quite a bit, and I use Stitch. I didn't use Stitch at all, honestly, but summons are pretty good handy replacements for when I use Final Form for stuff. The thing about beginner ABN is that I didn't use summons because they weren't as fast as using a form. A form is, you tend to be in more danger using a form because you don't have like the inherent safety that summons give, but you're usually faster to kill things because you have like enhanced magic or movement or what have you. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for ways to optimize fights because as you may have seen, at the very beginning of the scene, like 10 minutes in, it took me like legitimately aeons to die to that Agrabah fight, and I didn't even get like any defense. I just got like 10 HP. So let me think. Anything else? Level Final and Limit, even if you don't have drives up, they're really useful. Final, I didn't have to do it this seed, but leveling Final to get really high glides, and then just gliding everywhere with Final is a really good tactic. Yeah. If there's anything else that you want to know, like, this was meant to be like kind of a start to finish ABN comprehensive routing idea / strategy idea thing. But if you ever have any more questions, just poke around the random Discord. Somebody's probably got some strat that's cooler than what I've got, or what Crazy's got.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With that, I think the video can be considered over. So, once again, my name was Key. I ran the seed and commentated it.
And I was Crazy Comics. I'm gonna be actually a monitor for the upcoming beginner tourney. So yeah, you'll be seeing my name a few times. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, good luck to everyone who enters the beginner ABN tournament. Good luck to anyone who's trying to learn Rando. And goodbye.